Oh, you're there. Hello, everybody. Hello, Katie.
Hello.
And I see Orla is joining as well, Orla Broderick. And here comes more people. It's cool. So I'm just going to change this. I know who I am, and I'll just put my own name now, which is Deirdre, of course. Bannon T.
Like
I think I'll have to call myself Bannon T so that people know. Yeah. So are you a friend of Kitty?
Yes.
Yeah. And are you a student as well?
No. I'm a Gaelic teacher in Inverness.
Oh, cool.
So, but we met at a thing on like northwards now. I think we've never actually met in person, but we live about 15 miles apart.
Oh gosh, I know.
And it turns out we did the same degree.
The whole story of these times. Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you do archaeology as well?
No, Scottish ethnology.
Ah, okay.
At Edinburgh, a long time ago.
Yeah, so it's funny that because I live really close to George Square. I'm on Lauriston Place, and I'm constantly, well, I used to be constantly in and out of the School of Scottish Studies, but not so much now, obviously. And there's just loads of people I wouldn't have met if not for the lockdown.
This is true, absolutely.
Yeah, so the course that I just completed last year was the through so more. It was Culture Sechtree na Gaeltach.
All right, cool.
So yeah, and it was a slow course, and I used to get really frustrated until I realized, in fact, it was just tons of time going, having a chance to do decent research, and of course having Hugh Cheap and Don William Stewart guiding us all the way. So yeah, it was good. So this is Orla. Cadmar atá tú O'Hara.
Hanna ceart scoláir agus ó hain.
Nílam donna.
Níl tú chodonna.
Yeah.
Cad é an cuasa sin?
MSc ag Solmarostig. In Merla, she material culture and history of the Highlands and Islands, of the Gaeltach. They don't use the Highlands and Islands anymore. They just say the Gaeltach. Well, that says how long is it since we had a chat?
Ages.
What's this noise? Oh, there's Morag is in the waiting room. Is there a dog there hiding behind you, Orla?
There's a cat.
It's my husband sawing. He's doing renovations, so sorry. He's putting up coving.
Isn't that great for you that you have a fellow who would do that?
He has a very cheerful laugh. I have to say that.
Well, it looks fabulous, I have to say. So.
Oh, it does actually. Yeah.
Nice. Galant there, fad.
But I think
hi,
the
Morag.
Hi there. Kemara Hashirula.
Chaniel Donna. So ha Gaelic gan Keraging hamis munich, yeah. I have mescach the Gaelic agus Gaeilge ag Orla. A bhai furach an smell and noch. You must have some.
What? Cad é an pachal sin? Arist.
No, if you didn't catch it, you wouldn't do that in English. You wouldn't do that in English. You just go with the flow. That was so cool when you joined the Circle Cora last time. You did fine. You shouldn't have been so doubtful.
Oh, there's 20 years since I spoke Irish.
But you were fine.
No, 30.
You got on. And it was a really nice gathering, actually, that one. And you added to it because of your good cheer.
Thanks a million. That's the pills. The HRT is finally working. They keep increasing the dose, you know. The nice hormones are pretty gone, though. Anyway.
So, Katie, are you a writer as well?
Yeah, so poetry and songs mostly.
Oh,
so I started as singer, and then I started writing my own songs, and then that's kind of transformed into poetry as well. It's the same thing in Gaelic anyway, but
yeah, it is. Yeah.
But kind of gone more free form recently. But no, definitely been writing more.
Oh, I'd love to find out more about all of that. I look forward to hearing something from you. So now here is Sean from the Circle Cora Teachtasteach. Great character here. Sean O'Crahur as Cushendal Kunde in the Hintrima. You met him at the last Circle Cora, Orla. And he doesn't like to miss things. He's great crack.
Bit like yourself, Deirdre.
Yeah, absolutely. So hello, Judith Cara.
Judith.
So I'm swithering. I'm going to take a straw poll from you guys about whether to keep the waiting room or just to allow come in. I think we're very unlikely to be bombed by the wrong kinds of people. But if you'd be happier to have a waiting room, then I'll do the duties and let people in one by one. What do you think?
I think it's a lot of work for you.
Unless they wanted to come.
Yeah, and it's easy enough to turf somebody out if we have to, which is very unlikely. I can't really see it happening.
Did you say that I'm just going to be here for an hour?
Well, okay, Morag, we'll have to get you to do your Ceiliúradh Bhrighde then. How are you? Come on, how?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I can ski by virus or Oregon, Horam, Hanyo, and coronavirus. Yeah, and you me bulach falling.
Erash Marava. Oh, how many dulix and clinton?
Ach, me crochet. Bhrighde.
Oh, Galeva. Sin ho snog.
Again.
Oh, sin galons are fad.
Yeah. Yeah, so
like a musculta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Near West Agam Garoshi Dogum and Olivan.
Well, I nearly really and tradition na haun an alba ach yeah leave me in sin huur me fisrakeg Erlina so mara new na crochen yeah haid bria so
yes, and I have one. Orla left one on my window ledge during the lockdown last year, didn't you? During the snowy lockdown. She sneaked out of her own district and drove over with the Bridget's cross for me.
Did you think you didn't have any rushes?
Well, I didn't have any rushes. I had a broken wrist and a broken arm at that time. I wasn't going anywhere. Certainly not looking for rushes.
You certainly
but Sean Bay Nalucher Agavsha, she is oh, you're not, I know by your armchair, you're not in Haddington at the moment.
No, I'm not. This is not my Haddington armchair. This is my cushion doll.
It is your cushion doll armchair. So you're back. He was in Scotland. He's back in County Antrim. Yeah, no, I was going to say I tend to try places like Innerleithen if I have a car, I'll go down around just outside Innerleithen, and there's some nice walks around there where you can come in. And this is Kitty coming in. Hooray! So there's some folk here I'm meeting for the first time. Some people I've known for ages. It's really lovely. Fáilte.
Iskerma.
Iskerma. So, Coach, we decided to not bother about a waiting room because most people who are arriving here will know why they're here.
How lovely to see you.
Yeah, you too. You too.
Amazing. I'm sorry, I'm a wee bit tardy. I've just been having a chat with some folks about organising a poetry festival for July, and the idea of meeting people IRL is just amazing, you know.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, I'm longing for folks. So it's so lovely to be here. What a great idea, Deirdre.
Well, it was Morag and I, especially, and Orla, we would tend to do something around Bridget's Day anyway, just as women who have an Irish or a Gaelic kind of connection, and we're friends as well. And it was on my mind that Nollaig na Man wasn't really a great time for many people. It didn't really come, you know, it's too soon after Christmas. It works in person. If you're going to someone's house, you can make it happen quite well. But for online, it wasn't really that successful. So I said, oh, Rachel is coming in from the US. Fantastic. Hello, Rachel. You see her now in a minute. Another poet whom I know through Servas, the International Peace Organization. She's come and stayed with me once or twice, and we've kept in touch. And she comes over now to Scotland any year that she can, which hasn't really happened during the pandemic. Yeah, so it just seemed like, let's try this. And when I ran it past you, Kitty, and you said, oh, I think that's a great idea. That was really all I needed. You know, I thought, yeah, we're going to do it. And this is Stephanie coming in from Paris.
Amazing.
We've been talking about doing a joint Circle Cora between the Paris group. They're called Gaeltacht sur Seine for Seachtain na Gaeilge. And so I thought she might like to come in for this. And we met in the singing group. Hello, Stephanie. Fáilte isteach. Tá go maith, tá trúr nó carar agin le Gaeilge agus cúpla agin le Gaelic. So you can blether away in Irish or in English or as your wishes, as you desire. So how are things over in Paris? Have you had a storm there?
No, we haven't, and it was a bright day today, and I am ashamed to say I didn't set foot outside the door. I was up early. I kept meaning to go out, and then I did another thing, and then a thing, and another thing, and another thing again, and then the next thing, the sun was going down, and I said, tomorrow's another day.
It's too grocha.
Well, we've all had, most of us have had to stay in because there's been such a fierce storm the last 2 days.
Right. Oh my gosh. How are you all doing?
We've lost so many trees on our road. So I'm up here on the north shore of the Cromarty Firth, and we had it was wild. So the chainsaws were out. First doors yesterday morning, the farm boys all come down to clear the roads. We have it quite often if we have a storm, and in fact, at this time of year, it's very common. Yeah. So Bridget stirring up a hoolie. I live above an early Christian site down on the Cromarty Firth, which is the Ceiliúradh Bhrighde, a dedication from the 8th century to Bridget. And it's really lovely to be here this evening and feel the closeness of her kind of heritage here, even in part of the Highlands. So
Did she ever go to Scotland?
Well, we don't know.
She's fairly commonly dedicated in the early Christian tradition here. So there are also a few different, there's a kind of conflation of Bridget and Bríd and bride cults in the north of Scotland. So there are many manifestations of her here. But the dedication.
We've got that place at Clanbride, which is the only version of clan, the Welsh. I think it's the only clan place name in the whole of Scotland.
That's over by Elgin, which of course would make it, because so Pictish, and what we can tell about the possibility of Pictish is that it was probably rather than a Gaelic Celtic language, that it was one of the Brythonics, so like Welsh, like a kind of proto-Welsh, and so that might even be the conflation of an early Pictish name. Yeah. Don't get me started on Picts and archaeology. My husband rolls his eyes at this stage.
No, fuck, Lesh. Did you
fantastic.
Any snakes?
Celtic place names of Scotland.
It looks wonderful.
Right next to me. I think and there's that one. And
I have that one just above me, Katie.
Yeah.
And the place names of Scotland are so rich and various, aren't they? And it doesn't really matter where you've begun from. Like, would you prefer to be Caught? No, Kitty. What's your preference?
Oh, me, Deirdre. So Caught is
Caught. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just knew that you used Kitty for your Twitter name.
That's because that's my grandmother. I'm named for my grandmother. She was a Kitty O'Shea, if you can believe it.
Oh, nice.
From Killigatine and Kerry on the Iver Peninsula. Yeah.
So my granny was from Ramore.
Oh,
wow!
Just at the north end of Ceiliúradh Bhrighde. Yeah. And I got my Irish from her, so that meant Munster Irish, even though the family were originally brought up in Belfast, and then in 22 they went down to Dublin, and so they're all around the place. And it was really interesting learning from some of the women in that family, who were all quite long-lived, that they were very well educated. Like, they stayed in the primary school as apprentice teachers and then went to Belfast to do their training. And so that's why several of them married guys from the north and settled there for a while. And then if they weren't getting married, they would expect to have to go to London. They just never expected to be staying in Ireland. And they were all Irish speakers.
Yeah.
It was really fascinating. Yeah. What have we got here now, Orla? Bonanzas and Jacobites. What's this? Tell us about this.
Who's Caught? Picts and archaeology.
Yeah.
I've recently moved to Alva in Clackmannanshire.
All right.
And while there's very little Pictish story left, there's great legends of women, strong women that people were afraid of, lived in the tunnels in the hills. Now, the tunnels I've gone digging are not digging, I've gone researching. They are, the last time the one nearest to me was opened was 250 years ago. And Lord Erskine of Alva put some sort of story out there that it was an air shaft.
For a mine, then. So where they mine?
Silver mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's all hidden. It's all hidden crystals and.
Oh yes, I love the cryptic Jacobite stuff. It's amazing.
Astonishing. I've just got into it in the last year.
You'll need to. So there was well, if you ever up in Inverness, there's a great collection in the museum in
I
Inverness.
just left Inverness.
So did you? I used
I
to
was
be
20 years
curator.
outside Inverness.
Oh, so I used to be curator at the museum there, and one of the kind of unsung really aspects of the collection is that there are an enormous number of cryptic Jacobite objects from right around all of the islands in this part of Western Europe. So, you know, material from England and Scotland and Ireland. Not all of it on display. But
No, and it's fascinating, and
incredible.
not all of it's revealed.
No, exactly. Secret still.
Absolutely. And
well, that's a big international story, of course, you know.
and not told.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the research and story is scarce, is it not? I'd love to pick your brains, but I'm not going to back with it.
No, we won't let you off with that here.
But also, Keithy Campbell, who's here, would also know a great deal, I'm sure, about over on the West and the culture of Jacobitism over in the Gaeltacht, because, of course, the stories are curated and held there much more successfully than they are necessarily over on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
Yes, I've got
one of my
few,
favorite places is one of my favorite places is the museum over in Fort William as well.
Yeah,
that's just such a beautiful wee place with a massive amount of Jacobite material too.
Incredible collection, yeah, and it is always very well curated. You know, as a community museum as well.
This is Rachel, who is my American pal. Where are you at the moment, Rachel?
In freezing Vermont.
Oh dear.
7 degrees Fahrenheit right now. What is that in Celsius? Negative something.
Wow.
Say it again.
Cold.
What was the temperature, Rachel?
Look it up. Hang on. I'll translate it.
Yeah, I heard there's big snowstorms over in the East Coast.
Yeah, Boston got hit with 2 feet yesterday.
What temperature did you say?
It is right now negative 14.
That is cool.
Is that negative 14 Fahrenheit?
No, Celsius.
Celsius. Okay.
7 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's, you know, it's daytime, so.
And then it'll drop down.
It was negative 30
yeah.
last night. So. Yeah,
For you.
it's just really cold. But we didn't get the snow, but we're supposed to get 3 feet later in the week, so. Storms just coming. It's winter.
Yeah, and we're not really getting a normal winter in Scotland this year, are we? It's much wilder.
So mild.
It's wild and mild. Yeah, and of course that happens when the temperature goes up, doesn't it? That more storms generate in the Atlantic.
43 Fahrenheit right now. Balmy.
Great. So everybody, we have an absolute wealth of talent here in the room right now, and I wonder, what way would you like to begin? Like, we've got lots of writers: Katie, Orla, Koch, Rachel, and maybe even Stephanie. Stephanie is a singer, I'm a singer, and Morag is a singer, and she can also recite Ceiliúradh Bhrighde. So I was wondering, would you like to kick us off with Ceiliúradh Bhrighde, the genealogy of Bride?
Oh, I'd love to do. Yeah.
It would be fab, yeah.
Great. And I just was invited and thought I would come. I had no idea what we were going to be doing, so totally unprepared. Sorry, but
that's well, no, it's lovely to have your company.
You'll have to make the tea, so.
Yeah, you can put the kettle on. I think you're going to need the kettle on if you're in minus 14.
Yep. Steady stream.
Okay, well, are you ready, Morag? Do you want to go for it?
Yeah. Do you want me to screen share it?
So if you'd like to, and we can put ourselves on mute so that you won't get too many echoes. Yeah.
Right. Let me just share screen. Here we go. You all see that? So Ceiliúradh Bhrighde. Slunneag na ban Bhrighde. Las Ceiliúradh or. Muime chór Christa. Bhrighde níon dúil dún. Bhí cai, bhí karst, nitrig cún. Bhí crerar, bhí quish, bhí caramic, bhí carún. Gach lá agus gach aiche, nímí Ceiliúradh Bhrighde. Cha bharfar mí, cha spúliar mí, cha charachar mí, cha chúrar mí. Cha mugagus Christ an Jeremat mí. Oops. Halosk chena grian no gialach mí. Cha valún lí no salami. Cha rip sayich shihich no shivich mí. Is mí fochonrek mo neuv muthe. Is I mo chuiv vuime Bhrighde. Yeah, that's us protected.
Míle maithagat tá sin go híontach ar fad.
Stolum na fatlan heit ho bria.
I had Birma the Jack freshen. Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. So that's from the Carmina Gadelica. And we're getting kind of a bit more even between our Irish speakers and our Gaelic speakers now. So, would anybody like to follow that, or should I invite somebody?
I'll try.
Okie doke, Orla. All right, Glath.
This is something that I'm just starting to put together, and it's in the voice of Peggy McGee. Peggy McGee originated in the bogs of Donegal, but has been exiled for many years for the crime of being gay. My Shanmwaher whispers soft dreams of bog cotton heads. She speaks from Ballyness by the crossroads where women like me are. She speaks as Gaeilge. Is also Mulianav, is also as Misha, is also as Tirchonel, as Danu. Her voice became clear to me, wolf moon to wolf moon, Imbolc to Imbolc. A star fell from the sky, my Shanmwaher says. At first, she was a dolphin. She walked on land among the small fat people. She gave them many star children. She instructed her children how to care for their home. They called her Danu. My brain is a burach, a big stinking mess in Gaelic. My menopause and linear time have not found compatibility. I was slightly catatonic there for a while with the overwhelm of it all. There was a choice I made under Mother Moon 12 moons ago. I invited my long dead Shanmwaher to guide me. I begged for my ancestors' wisdom. I researched Bríd, Buddhism, and the Ochil Hills. I requested the grace and bounty of St. Bridget. She sent me a mental health specialist called Hamish. Can I remember the moments I knew? When did the drips of truth begin? I wrote myself a poem last year around this time to remind myself I'd been through worse. Hamish suggested I needed closure regarding social workers. I agreed. He saw a pattern to my rages. As Imbolc 2021 began, my dog and I had taken to wandering further in each day. We followed burns into glens because I had to disconnect from reality. This day, or this week last year, you came too. Maybe the moon and your mood were aligned favorably. Maybe you were adequately caffeinated or bored. To clear your head, you said, you go where people don't. We had climbed beside the burn above the silver mine, beyond the first beaver dam. I sat on a smooth rock. From my pack, I produced a purple pottery goblet. I filled it from crystal clear snow melt and drank. I refilled it for you. Tastes like silver, you said. Oh, my beautiful daughter, drink. Come here when you can to wash and drink. Cleanse your inner waters, your blood. Here is purest water, Minnie Wachoni. Has it only been a year? We sat, we splashed, we drank, as we have always done. I had oatcakes, cheese, a knife. We walked up Wood Hill to the Silver Glen. I was not a criminal then. I come here to pray, I said, to chant, to breathe deep gratitude into every step. I give thanks to my mother for her love and protection. Protection from all your stalkers, you said. Yes, baby, baby. Protection from all the haters who would put out my light. Gratitude that you are still alive, that we have this second chance. It requires strength, grace, wisdom to sort you out. I find fey places to pray in. Aikida Sensei, guide my writing. May my words be soft, gentle, and bring delight as a Lotus Sutra advises. I gave you back your life. What you do with it now is wholly your own choice. Imbolic to imbolic, I chanted a mantra to raise your chi. This year's for me. Do you want more? Or is that enough? I can go on forever, like.
Well, why don't you come back in a wee while and follow up? Sure. Would that be okay?
What?
We've got to have a proper taikeili here, you know. Always room for more, says Morag. This is Morag, who has just arrived while you've been speaking. And Diarmaid, Fáilte, Jock Freshen, lovely to see you, as ever. Now, who would, Koch, would you like to read, or do you need a song in between those? What do you think? We have lots of talent in the room.
I could do either. She says, I'm up for either. Will I read a poem, and then I'll have soused my voice a bit for a song later.
Yeah, and then Katie, would you like to do something after that? Would that be a good idea?
That would be fine.
Okay, doke. We'll go for that then.
Right. So this is a poem that I think it's good for the night that's in it. And it's a poem I wrote thinking about this time last year. I was asked to write a wee article about the Mother and Baby Homes report, which had just been published over in the Republic of Ireland. And, you know, writing that and thinking about the many ways in which mothers are important and mothers are recognized or dismissed. Because a lot of that report is, I'm sure people will be familiar, is difficult reading, but also I thought important to look maybe to some of those stories in our deeper past of the care and the attention and the Bridget-like embrace of that maternal in all of us, and that desire to care even when it seems that people are too vulnerable or too small or too diminished to be considered, that it is possible for us to care and to love. So this is a poem called Birth, and it's a kind of embrace. To remind me that the sun will return, I paint ochre onto your body. This unruly lull of limbs and hair, and I chew the deer's hide soft to make a shroud of teeth and hooves for you, birthed but never born. Wings clipped at your moment of flight. I bury you among the mounds. They circle this turf like beads of coal. Your body I give to oil and quartz, to this necklace of jet and bog, cradled upon the wing of a swan. And stories swarm like beetles from your grave, carved between the care of earth and stars, torn from this throat, tarred with tears and dirt. They fall like arrows from a bow, and they tell of swans and geese and hungry women who hunt. And each tale is like a fawn lost in the forest. In the quietening, we hear its pulse. People who will always be poets will search the whole world's ebb for your stories. They will tell how the fire ochre sun opened up your wings and how you fanned its flames all about the earth.
That's beautiful. So powerful about such an important subject too. That's gorgeous. Thank you, Bhrighde. So let's unmute for a second because we had two friends arrive, Morag and Muireann. Now I know Muireann. Muireann's saying she's just in from a yoga class, as you do. And Morag, maybe you don't want to say anything just now, in which case we'll carry on and invite Katie. Fáilte Katie, Rita Gnagat, Jibbatol left the Enif.
Hamidol oran a hain, oran a rain me limhin.
Oh, fab, yeah,
so it's in Gaelic. It's about one of my ancestors. Her name was Janet Nicholson, and she was from the island of South Rona. There's two islands of Rona in Scotland. North Rona's near Lewis. We don't talk about that because the real one is above Raasay. So Raasay is where my mum's family is from, but the Isle of South Rona is just above it. And my ancestor Janet Nicholson was widowed on 17th of February 1822 when she lost her husband, her brother and her son, and 6 other people from the island drowned. She'd previously lost another brother and 2 brothers-in-law to the sea. So from then on, she put a light in her window every night for over 20 years to guide ships safely past the rocks. And the Royal Navy gave her a pension as a result of it. So this is Mullaigh Ben Ronai. She was just known as the Woman of Rona, and all the sailors knew who she was. So I wrote it in the style of a kind of a sea song, a rowing song. So throat's not exactly top notch, so we'll see how it goes. O hi harinyo horo, o hi harinyo horo, o hi harinyo horo, Mullaigh Ben Nuasoronai, Hanigam Paseran Fluai, Tibish na Marevachochrui. Vahig Marichen se chwain bial ben hwyr ronai. Get nach biach baun trach voch gachaichel vasi solus cod gun yimpi gun yeran le eran ve call Mullaigh Ben Ronai. O hi harinyo horo, o hi harinyo horo, o hi harinyo horo, Mullaigh Ben Nuasoronai. Vat is bichet blian sa 3 jaar sig solish na mna gunni. Cymig na sialwydr yn ron stri, taing a fen hwig siachronau, canner dyn nefi lichirfig, fo chapchen y chomet is hwrs der rish, fe mi syniere gyda cwrgi, cowi ben hwag yn dyronau, o hi harinyo o hi harinyo o hi harinyo Malig ben was o ronau. Etter yn teis yn arcysig fôr, hawl y fôr strych a'i solish yn rosh, gwbrach bi cain ac unier sionich, malig ben was o ronau, o hi harinyo o hi harinyo o hi harinyo Malig ben was o ronau. Lovely.
Woo! Iangantoch. Wow. Hwyl agus gúcho áling agad chuideoch.
Agus sciach o bránach cwtioch.
Yeah.
Michelle and Jen heard me.
Well done, that was fabulous. Yeah. We've just had a wee note from Rachel to say that she's found something she could read. So if you're happy, why don't you? It'll keep you warm, Rachel. She's in -14.
Right. Yeah. So I just hit my finder and put Bridget, and it popped up this page from this book I'm working on called On Water, which was my time on the vineyard. And it's called In Bulk Storm.
Perfect.
Can you hear me? My internet is funky.
Yeah.
In Bulk Storm. Watching the storm move across the continent, a massive swath of land engulfed on the radar, the worst of it is red and slow. Waiting our turn, we are still in the blue, surrounded by wind and water, the sheath of ground caught up on the edge of something larger as it snakes through. We know it will be fierce, that there will be things that are broken, forecasts being difficult to predict with utter accuracy, just where, when, or how much is anyone's guess. Weather has a mind of its own. I turn up the heat, light a fire, softly, so softly call to Bridget. The snow has begun to fall. Tucked in for the duration of a nor'easter that arrived this morning, I am observing the natural building and intensity of a weather front allows truth to break loose. How? Sorry. I feel tired and flat. I just want to lay down and sleep. This malaise off. The steady swirling pulse of the current, the way it casts the snow in a spiral, causes me to look up. Looking up draws an immediate magnetic pull back to what is real. The interconnectedness of everything. Body, freedom from body. I make a bed for her, she who comes. I prepare food and drink. Below me in the thicket, there is a doe and her 2 fawns rooting around the deep cover of the forest floor, just near my altar to Bridget. Breaking their rhythms to listen to the gusting wind and look around, they cannot see me but sense what is near. They are paying attention. So am I. I watch as they sniff around Bridget's head, start licking her. They lick her clean of dirt and snow, then step back and look at their accomplishment. If I get to know this storm, I will have accomplished something today. I can hear the scrape of the plow running across the main road. The paper whites on my table are reaching towards the light. I am also reaching. I had just been reading about magical, movable palaces appearing from the thick cover of sky, landing where they will. The storm is swirling that ineffable frozen love around. I am inside a snow globe. Giant white cornflakes are blowing sideways in a debt of honor, expressing the ultimate nature of Orlina. That is what this one is called. Sometimes we name storms, affording them all the privilege and ineffable qualities of the living entities they are. Orlena streams across my field of vision as her driving winds continue to strengthen. She is so beautiful. I can't help but open the door and let her in. One or two individual crystals land on the cold glass, their fine kaleidoscope patterns visible only for moments. Another one of us swirling in the Maya, a sweet amusement. Moments and visions and memories all are mixing in the sky, also inside of me. The storm gives away what we have made. The storm brings visible change, tells us to let go of everything. Orlena demands it. I remember that no storm overwhelms me, Bridget watching through haze now recoated in snow. I say her name again and again. The sky howls back that all will be well. That's it. A day in the life.
So apt for the weather we're having here.
I know, I was like, well, we've been talking about storms.
Totally tuned in. Thank you so much. That was lovely. That was fabulous. Lovely to hear you read as well. I haven't heard you read for ages. So it was great. It just narrows the gaps between us, doesn't it, to be able to share some work. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, like, I have the luxury of going around the room, but I could give you a break and give you, like, normally several of us would sing the Gaum Multa Bhrighde together, but we know that it's so difficult to do that on Zoom. So I just think I'll give you a wee blast of that and see how it goes. And then Stephanie, would you like to do a song after that?
I would. I'll have to pick another one, but that's okay, right? I'll do another one.
Oh, are you going to sing that? Oh, then do.
Well,
do.
You probably know it better than I do, because I sort of went rooting around for songs about Bridget, and you know, there's kind of like I wasn't coming up with very much. I was kind of having a good rummage around the Duchas website, but you probably know it better than I do. So you go ahead and
I'm feeling bad now.
No, don't, because this is the way. Sure,
we could get you to sing it before you go, because there'll be comings and goings through the evening.
I meant to sing something else, obviously. So, so you go ahead. I look forward to hearing you sing.
Yeah, we often do this as a round, actually, which whenever we can all get together, it works really well, because it's such an old tune. It really works as a round. And very kind of meditative when you do it like that. So Gaum Multa Bhrighde, Anwa mile hera, Anwen legach tiri, Malamish galeri. Lochran gyalna lainya, Asael shufana tira, Yaunero iveren, Yaunaman ermine. Tegan givrutiandu, Agyarulena hera, Achela region, Garduin arach erin. Sinead. I'm imagining all of your voices as well.
Wow.
It's lovely, isn't it? And I just remembered, Rachel, I think myself and Susanna sang that for you the first time you came to Edinburgh.
It's one of my best memories of my life. We were out on the and they just started singing that in round, and I'm just like, pinch me, is this for real? It was so beautiful.
Yeah, it just becomes very hypnotic, doesn't it? Yeah. So okay, well, Codley the Huram, Stephanie, or why not Lanaraig le Rodegan?
Okay.
Good. Off you go. Fantastic.
So like I was saying, I was kind of having a look around the Dúchas website, and now admittedly, I didn't, I'd need to spend more time. I mean, there must be stuff out there. And of course there is. It's just I don't actually really know much of it, anything connected with
well, maybe it would be nice to do a kind of a not a workshop, but a Ciardlan get together on Zoom with the Dúchas website and just keep on, keep digging in and finding stuff.
Finding stuff.
Might be nice to do that together as a group. Yeah.
Totally. And I did find a funny story about Killarney, which I foolishly did not save, but I'll try to dig it up for later on. But in the meanwhile, again, I was thinking, I don't know any songs about lambs either, So I'll go for some cows, right? And
excellent.
This song is from Donegal, and I first heard it on a bootleg cassette copy of an album by Trian and Ironal that my dad had around the place, and because he liked the Bothy band, and this was one of the songs that I just absolutely loved from it. And so it's from Donegal. I'm not, so you'll have to put up with my non-Donegal accent. And it's about a girl who is, a common story, I'd say, amongst many women. Young girl gets married, deeply regrets it and wishes she was back looking after the cows again. And there was something that RTE, there was an interesting article on RTE, the website, recently enough about the bullying villages, and that it gave youngsters a lot of freedom, and especially young women. But youngsters could go up into the hills, stay there for, months at a time, when we still, of course, practiced transhumance, and of course.
And that's known over here as the shieling.
Oh, yes.
The bully is the shieling. Yeah, it's saying exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's song too where there's mention of a shieling. Yeah, so my lag in love, but I'm not going to sing that.
Oh, anyway, yes, of course.
Get on with it now. So it's called Nagao Nagala.
Lovely.
I haven't sung this in a while now, right? So I might have to change key. Siad ma chuid a gauna, na gauna gala. Did siad an fair ach an olan, siad ein vanyam. Snow siad an aw, nis an aw. Bana Acharvar lo alum tra kunan van mara Him biem o shame of ron sanagauna Malelo ship of ron sanagauna Imbiamabo Shemaro Sanagauna O Madin Shun Sataurus Ganna Gauna Gamma Shola. O Varm Shema Valak Dun Taggart the Fosming. Sandarna Malachona Baltimore. Sheets Narchlach Maria Vidus Moiga. Ach me grinke in Satara Gusagauna Lama Shola. Is biag mahol gubwi no egarti. When yoga, when nagas through mi bona. Bavila barlam vegro, biag Satara. Paul ver stras me gedar na gauna. O near varlum surudin haram na bura. O near varlum salo kish fame nan luachara. Pibajina krenna biechashanam mi machluasa. Skavarlam sagim nach nangana in savueli. He ma biema bo shema run sanagauna. Ma leilo. Shit maro sanagauna. Hima bima bo shimaro sanagauna. Oh, madin yun satara skanagauna gamma shola. Sinead.
Oh, that is fabulous. Very, very, you can just imagine how you would just get totally involved in that song as you're out there on the landscape. Yeah.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks
well done, well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly right. Just gorgeous. I was just starting. I'm not doing very well at multitasking here. I was going to just text a few people who are quiet to see if they would like to contribute. Diarmuid, I was thinking you might like to do something or say something or recite something. We haven't even said a proper hello to you yet. We've just been carrying on.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I've never really considered St. Bridget's Day very much before. So I'm quite impressed to hear everything I've heard so far.
Thank you.
I do write poetry, but I never really share it very much. And so I was looking through to see if I ever wrote anything on the 1st of February, because I date everything I write. And I have found one poem that I wrote on the 1st of February.
That seems like a very good reason to the crack. This is a very safe place to share your work. We'd love to hear it.
Would you like to hear it? Shall I read it now?
Why not? If you're happy to do that, of course.
Yes, well, as I say, I'm not at all used to doing this sort of thing. But the poem is called We Are Agreed. And I wrote it in Christchurch in New Zealand in 2008. And it goes like this. We are agreed then. We are agreed that love matters. We are agreed that love comes first. We are agreed that love grows. We are agreed that love seeks the good of the other. We are agreed that love is found in men's hearts. We are agreed that love needs nurturing. We are agreed that love needs finding. We are agreed that you are love. And that's it.
I'd say Bridget would be happy with that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for braving the experience of reading for a group of people. That's really, yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, not at all.
No, fabulous. Thank you for trusting us.
Well, you're very welcome, everyone.
Great. Who would like to do something? We've kept the place going for almost an hour already. And what about Sean? What's your hand going up for there, Sean?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Ta ora nagam.
Yay! Very happy to hear that.
It's not truly a song about St. Bridget, but I think she would approve. The Castle of Dromore. But ach fan bommetje. And Berla agus Gaelic. October winds lament around the Castle of Dromore. But peace be in thy lofty home, a fast yaviag a store. O Holy Mary, pity me, a bird of spring are you, singing hush by loo, la loo, loo, lan, sing hush by loo, la loo. Tagi an Gavrunyev Nyachfur, Art temple dram an or, Achen san halativus G, Ta evening san galore. Ta myra os argan, Egir igras te jun. O shen mich lula lulan. O shen mich lula lu. Na hitch in the rodder me, as pony in bog and small. Na heg in the rodon o and more. Na shan van glick. Na we had gumaleska. Ta myra o sagan. Egir igras te jun. O shen mich lula lulan. O shen mich lula lu. Ah, gumaleska. That's the words that there are for it.
Mahu, that's the whole point of a taikeli, that you do your turn and you don't have to say Gamaleshkel. You're very welcome to be here and to share. I've never heard you sing before, Sean. That's wonderful.
But did you understand the words that I said excuse me for?
Kind of, yeah. I wasn't worrying too much. You were being non-PC.
Sean fan glick na moel. Oh ho ho. No backlash.
Na bach. Tá tú ceart go leor. Muireann and Morag, are you just happy to listen, or would you like to? Oh, sorry, here we are, moving, doing stuff while listening. Don't want to be a distraction. That's fine. Okay. So I wonder, Morag, what do you think? Would you like to sing a song?
Yeah, I could sing one, and then I'm probably going to have to leave because just my energy's really low. Just need to get lots of rest at the moment.
Of course, yeah, yeah. No,
but it's been so lovely. I've loved meeting you all, and yeah, hearing folks' contributions. It's been really kind of enriching evening.
Yeah,
Lauren, thank you for organising it. Yeah,
not at all. I'm delighted I did, and
yeah,
and now that I've kind of got my head around it, I'm sure we can do something like this again before too long.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm your Dollarhain Ceiliúradh Bhrighde.
Oh, great song, yeah.
She Donald Mara since I'm a MacDonald, I'll sing my clan song, song praising the MacDonald clan. So, Sinead, Ceiliúradh ní séúlar fapal, Crúba gaun an dús ó catal, Gunjarach a héich na sacha, Trimich Movrain Horla Magna, Holleve Kieleve Coelio, Holleve Kieleve Corogi, Holleve Kieleve Coelio, Ceiliúradh le clan holni, Ceiliúradh mi shermulach benya, Gavarg gren les veren sogar, ik mi stolle corna collier, bi mi bio hetriade sele, Holleve kieleve coelio, Holleve kieleve corogi, Holleve kieleve coelio, Ceiliúradh mi herbna, Ceiliúradh mi sherbargach bidjan, Janef muir na rítarioch na matna, Bualat mohlia lu medan, Shine gun smar gun smotan, Holleve kieleve coelio, Holleve kieleve corogi, Holleve kieleve coelio, Ceiliúradh le clan holni, ma volves gachian ahir hein, cum haresh nach molag misha, Tiernan curi, tiernan clear, an tierviach gariali vessel, Holleve kieleve coelio, Holleve corogi, Holleve kieleve coelio, Ceiliúradh le clan holni. Sinead.
Great song, well sung.
Yes, Dólam an Toran sin bí Julie Fowleska Shane Kutchuk.
Come on, Leishkill. Maura, did you know that you have a department in Ireland, a territory in Ireland, the Glens Bottom. Sorry?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, the Glens Bottom, that's where I'm from. And the common names here are MacDonald, the surnames, MacDonald, and McAllister and Macaulay. And McAllister and Macaulay, they're parts of the Clan Donald, of the MacDonald clan, and that's
they're septs of the clan, aren't they? Yeah, yeah. They're the septs of the clan of Clan Donald. The Clan Reynolds. Yeah.
Macaulay was
the northeast.
Son of Call Kidog. And they're major parts of Clan Donald. from Isla.
That's I was at some point I was going to sing that one. Alistair McCullough, who died in Ireland. He actually died in Munster in County Cork, and he was the sheriff of, was it Macroom? I think it was. And he fought in the Confederate Wars in Ireland, on the Royalist side against the King of England, and was kind of not really lauded in the Hebrides so greatly, but he was really, there's a pipe tune I've been trying to get a hold of that's Gulnamban, I've forgotten the rest of the name, but it's a cua, it's an elegy to Alistair McCullough. What's the second part of it's the crying of the women at the wake of Alistair McCullough. So lots to, and so he made his kind of, his base was in County Antrim. That was where he came, he used as his family base, and then he would be working all over the country and down in Munster especially. But I think he retired to County Antrim totally. Gurn and Bamulach, Katie, I'm Kjarsh, their father got that's exactly it, yeah. Oh no, it's not Namban Mulach. That's a poem by Mary Nian. What's her name again? I can't remember it all now.
Mary Nian Alsteroy.
No, it wasn't. It was Myriad Nian.
Myriad Nian Lachlan.
Nian Lachlan, and she was so she composed a coup of an elegy for MacLean of Duart, who fell in the Battle of Sheriffmuir in the Jacobite War. But this was before that. Alistair McCullough was at least a century before that. And there's a pipe tune in Ireland that there's bound to be a song for somewhere. And it wasn't Gair Namban, it was Gull Namban, the crying of the women after the death of Alistair McCullough. So that's, there's lots of rich connections. I have cousins actually who are MacDonalds and grew up in Lancashire, and they're almost certainly from Antrim.
I have a question.
Off you go.
I quite like the song Mogilla Mar. And it's
it's a great song. You're going to sing it?
No, I wouldn't sing it. But it's written by Sean Cloroch MacDonald.
So it is, that's right.
And he's actually buried in my father's hometown of Charleville in County Cork.
Oh wow.
And he's one of the Meg poets. The Meg is a river in Limerick. But I was wondering how widespread are these MacDonalds? Here was one who was born and bred in Limerick, and Mogilla Mar is a Jacobite song.
It is,
Very, very strong song as well.
And people from the Glens of Antrim area, where I am now, where I'm from, fought at the Battle of Culloden. On the right side.
See, my ancestors did the clever thing. They had 6 sons, and they put 3 on one side and 3 on the other, so that they would come out on the right side. So on one night they hosted Bonnie Prince Charlie. The next night they hosted Cumberland.
Oh. Who was that?
Macintosh of Moy.
That's surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
Because her husband was pro-government, and the wife was she was very pro-Jacobite.
That is such a Gaelic story. The Irish were always fighting on both sides.
Well, I may be a Campbell, but it's an Irish Campbell. It's
Oh.
not Scottish. It's my husband's family's from Ballycastle.
Oh,
So
well,
the
John,
whole Campbell thing is not, I wasn't on the wrong side at Culloden, which is like just up the road. It's not. I've got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had a cousin.
John is just down the road from Ballycastle. He's in Cushendall, which is on the coast as well, just in slightly from the coast.
About 16 miles away.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there a couple of years ago, so yeah.
Well, Bini Gurfagon Drasta. So I'm gonna head off now, but lovely to meet you all. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Lovely to have you with us, Morag. Yeah. And we must meet you for another late tea one day.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah, need to catch up with you properly.
So,
would everybody like to have a wee break, and then we'll make a little, or would you like to keep going? Kate, Koch, ní féidir lom tú a chlostal.
There I am, Misha. Sorry. No, but we keep rolling.
If you're happy, if everyone is
I feel
happy to keep rolling, then I'm definitely enjoying all of this. Are you ready to do something, Coach?
I'll sing a song.
Are you in the mood?
I am. I'll sing a song. And
Lovely.
I'm thinking all this talk of our convivial relations across the Moor would be, maybe it's nice to sing a song of Scotland. And I was thinking, when I was down getting my rushes today for making my Bridges Cross, I was down at the Kiltern shore, looking at the shalders, as folk call them here, the oyster catchers, the little servants of Bridge. I was thinking about snowdrops and thinking, actually, but what I could sing tonight, it's not a snowdrop song, but the song of the Wee White Rose. We put a lot of Jacobite chat. So maybe I'll just sing that. I like to think if Bridget had been here, of course, she would have taken her tongue to the Scots tongue as well, in all her embracing of culture and openness. I'm a bit like Stephanie. I'm not sure what key this is going to come out in at all, because I haven't sung in company for, how long is it now? 2 years nearly. Oh, wee white rose of Scotland, tell to me, when would your hyacinth, oh, wee white rose of Scotland, tell to me, when would your hyacinth bloom, we faint a thorn? When would you rise up pale and stracht and free? Nimmer te dwain verfochten and forlorn. Oh, would ye rise and scent the air again? We blossom blithe on branches new breed. Together this land pit life in ye had spend. My wildest gear to bring ye some mead. Oh no, this land's a kindly nurse to me. It is the sky we mark is there our cast. Their days do, they will only ended be when fae new earth blows a fresher blast. When charity shall stand in Scotland's tongue, for leal and soothful band we are that lives, when riches are nae mere the work orang, but shall requite the aim that freest gives. When Scotland's great are they, wha kindest can lift others' loads to keep their spirits room. Then we glad upspring until the sun, the winds of all the world I shall perfume. Oh, wee white rose of Scotland, tell to me, when would you rise and bloom, we faint a thorn? When would you rise up hale and strucht and free? Nay, mair to dwine forfaughten and forlorn. Have a life, thank you.
Oh, well done, well done. Wasn't that a Hugh MacDermott poem originally? Is that right? No?
No, it was written by a woman, and I wish I could remember. It's just awful.
Oh, we'll do. We can. Well, that's what we'll need a little breather for, to do our homework.
But it's very much in the spirit, of course, of Hugh MacDermott.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, no, that was beautiful, lovely to hear it. I haven't heard it in ages. Yeah.
Perhaps, Deirdre, 5 minutes break so we can get a cup of tea and.
Oh, I don't know about that now, Sean. You're slacking on the job there. Yes, of course. I think that's a really good idea.
I mean, you couldn't call me a British workman if I wasn't having a cup of tea. Then, of course, I'm Irish.
Yeah, off you go and put your kettle on.
Okay.
And those who fancy a chat, we'll have a chat. And anybody, let's see what Orla is up to. Oh, she's talking to the dog. Stephanie, this is probably a good opportunity for us to have a blether about Seachtain na Gaeilge.
Sure, yeah.
So what do you normally do over in Paris, or what did you do last year when we couldn't meet properly?
Oh, last year. Well, so first of all, because I can't remember how much I was saying to you, but in any case, just to let the others know too, the singing club that I belong to here in Paris, the Club Araniach de Farish, does what it says on the tin. We're a sub-club of our branch of Conradh na Gaeilge over here, which is called an Gaeltacht sur Seine, the Gaeltacht on the Seine. And every March for Seachtain na Gaeilge, usually we're in the embassy at least once. There's loads of events at the Irish College, the CCI, the Centre Culturel Irlandais. We've got our monthly Cearcail Cara. The singing club would usually, do something as well, sometimes even at the embassy. And of course, all of that was before the COVID. So I think last year, at the end of March, we had our monthly conversation circle was a poetry night, kind of Ihe Filiach Dovel, kind of like spoken word of Skraelge, the same sort of idea, except the only thing that we did, the thing that we changed at the end of October, because we do this twice a year, but at the end of this October gone, we said no singing, because normally people do come and do poetry, but we realized that there's a lot of us in the singing club, and that there was a risk of the songs taking over, which some of us just don't have a problem with, but we said poetry only, right? So in March, because I'm kind of, we've only just kind of started talking about it, and we're waiting to see what's going to be possible and what's not. So there's definitely going to be the Ihe Filiach Dovel will be at the end of March, if not March, then April. There will possibly be a singing workshop or two, and there will be, I don't think there's anything in the embassy, this year.
Well, I think we're in the same situation. We would normally have a big Cearcha Córa in the Irish consulate in Edinburgh, and we would, if possible, we would run a Ceardlan Gaeilge in the consulate as well. But that's off the program completely at the moment. Yeah. And so what I was wondering was, so just to fill you in, Stephanie and I met in a monthly Zoom singing session run from the Seamus Ennis Arts Centre. And there's another friend who'll be arriving from that later, Lynn from the Isle of Mull. She was a stalwart of that monthly gathering.
Lynn Phipps?
Lynn Phipps, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She's a real character. So they had a great atmosphere, and it's been very inspiring about how you could do something like this and make it work online, really mainly because the Farrantee was so good, actually, I think. And I suppose singers instinctively like gatherings, it's something that we wouldn't want to go without for a whole 2 years while a pandemic got out of the way. But so I was wondering what could work between us online, really. Would it be nice to have a singing gathering for Seachtain na Gaeilge? Or would you like to maybe invite some of us to an event that you're doing and vice versa? Well, what do you think?
Well, now that you mention it, of course, I forgot the obvious. The minute the first lockdown happened, we went from monthly, because we traditionally gather the first Monday of every month in the pub, and we went weekly. Now we're not weekly anymore. We go back to the pub when we can, but we've actually maintained a monthly online session. So we've got 2 sessions a month, one in the pub when we can, and the other one then is online. So I'm going to be in Ireland from the 21st of February until the 7th of March. So I'm going to move the pub one. It all depends, possibly. So this is the tricky bit. I'm either going to maintain the pub one for the 7th of March, and then I need to ask the rest of the committee, like, what dates would suit them, because our online one then, it could either be the 14th or the 21st, depending on Seachtain na Gaeilge and all of that. So we're going to actually have like an online session, and I mean, if you like, we could do it on the same night, but I don't know if Monday night suits everyone, or what the story is, or.
Well, to tell the truth, I think we just have to try and make things happen. I have to say, I work on a Monday night, so I wouldn't be able to host it. Because I'm on my laptop, I do a live transcription for 3 hours, which is exhausting. But it doesn't finish until about 10.
Yeah.
So you would probably be winding down by then. That would be an hour later for you, wouldn't it? It'd be 11 at night that'd be 11 time.
I mean, in the early days of the lockdowns and stuff, we'd stay on until 12 or 1 in the morning, because I mean, it was going anywhere, right? But now, I mean, we still kick off at around 9 for the online one, because but we could do it earlier, and we could do it on a different day, because I think it'd be great, to do something. And what we do as well is that in our own sessions as well, is we kind of have the system of Bléach Úsal, that the person who sings picks the next person then, and we often have chat in between the songs. So I mean, last Monday there were only a few of us there, but we were chatting away for ages, and we actually only got 1 song in each. because we were all, just the conversation took off, you know. And because my Irish isn't as fluent speaking it as I'd like it to be, but I'm working on it. I'm unusually quiet, you know, except for the singing bits. But so we don't necessarily, you know, go person by person, which is harder to do in a bigger session, but our sessions are quite small.
Oh, this sounds really interesting. Like, yeah, I'd really like to be a fly on the wall there, or contribute maybe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna, for everybody else, I'm gonna, and you know, if anybody wants my email, I'm just gonna type it into the chat box now, and hopefully, because autocorrect in Zoom doesn't like Irish.
Oh, tell me about it. I because I hop between Irish and Gaelic a lot. Yeah, I just think that all the Gaelic people think I can't spell.
Every time I want to type, you know, Girl Magad, it keeps on wanting to change like Rev to Rabbit. You know, I'm like, no, you know, it's like, so that's my email there.
That's lovely.
And
yeah.
If anybody's free on a Monday evening, any night, like I can put you on the mailing, I can put people on the mailing list. Because I don't just have the mailing list for the online sessions, but anytime we do a cardlin or anything extra, you know, it goes out to the same list. And you'd be more than welcome to join. And being on the list doesn't mean you have to come regularly, and people can come and go during the evening when they like as well. You know, we're very casual with the timekeeping, you know, and some people come late, you know, because they're after work or, you know, whatever they're eating, but you're more than welcome to come. And there's usually a woman from Kerry, Phil Nivia Blair, who acts as Banantee, and a Connemara woman as well, who was the Irish teacher here up until the COVID, Katrina Nichanela, who's about to start a residency in a Seir for 6 weeks, but they're fantastic. I mean, we've had some, Lynn comes every now and again too, Lynn Phipps, and yeah, we've no social media presence. We were, you know, everyone is welcome, and it's also nice and small, if that makes any sense, you know. We've people who come from Cork Singers as well, Cork Singers Club, and yeah, we've had like Moira Ní Chéalachair come, you know, and Claire McRury, and Diarmid DeFuita as well, who's an actor, but he's also very interested in singing. And recently he was, well, he's been involved in sort of excavating the ITMA and, you know, duchas for Irish language songs from Clare, because it's not that long ago that County Clare was still Irish speaking, or parts, you know, even though there's no Gaeltacht there anymore, but it's not that long ago, you know. And
County Clare was devastated by emigration, just devastated in both directions to America. Like most of the musicians went to America, but so many just ordinary workers went to London, and and until very recently, when Irish people had to go away like that, there was no hope of being able to keep their language alive.
No,
it just wasn't possible. But nuair a thosaigh mé leis an Cearr Chomh ní raibh go leor Gaeilge agam fágtha. You know, it was kind of in my head, and I would always understand Radio na Gaeltacht and everything. But just because we've been running it on a monthly basis and kept it going now, how many years, Sean? It's probably about 6 or 7 years now. It's quite a long time. It was maybe 5 years before lockdown. Everything will be timed around COVID.
That's right. Yeah.
You're talking away, but we can't hear you yet.
John, you're muted.
Oh, that's a terrible thing for me. I don't do well with it. Sorry, I was saying, I don't think I was in from the beginning, though.
Were you not? No.
I don't think so. In the consulate.
Yeah, yeah. So we were very place-based, and then we started to do things like for Seachtain na Gaeilge, we would go out about the town, and then maybe at Christmas time go out for a meal or something like that, and take part in Seachtain na Gaelic. But the consulate had been a great anchor for us, and it definitely attracted people that mightn't have just come to a session in a pub or something like that. We really didn't want to have a session in a pub because, in fact, some people were young parents, were bringing their small children, and a pub would be completely unsuitable. So
there's respectability about the consulate.
And us reprobates coming in.
Well, I mean, you know, and for somebody as respectable as myself.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Dermot as well, of course. But there's a wonderful poet. I don't know if any of you have come across her before. Anne Connolly is her name. She's published, and she's from.
Ballymena.
Is it Ballymena?
Ballymena, yeah.
Yeah. And she's a bit older and hasn't got the right equipment. She has all of her poetry and her collections on a Mac, on an old Mac that doesn't have a camera. And of course, she's desperate not to lose all that material, and also she's not quite ready to make the transition. I've been talking to her about it and wondering how we can include her a bit more, because it's going to be some time before we can get together in person. But she's definitely somebody that we need to find a way of representing her again. So that's on my mind too. But her spoken word is beautiful, and her poetry is really special. So, but she doesn't write in Irish. We were talking specifically, Stephanie, about something for Seachtain na Gaeilge. But I think we should maybe try and maybe do a joint Ceardlan or something like that. Maybe what we were saying about a dive into the Dúchas website and do that, you know, just as a, what do they call it? There's a tech word for it, for these kind of come to your laptop and see what you can find. It used to be quite a new thing to do, and now everyone goes around with their laptop.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
But yeah, I think
something like that. Yeah, we could do it on a day, you know, either like the last Carlin.
Well, let's just be a little bit selfish and choose a day that you and I can do, because we're the ones who are suggesting it.
Sure. Yeah, be a minute kind fee.
Bay. Okay, agus féidirling rá go méid rud éigean ag tarlú. Yeah,
agus tá ag tanú leis. Yeah.
Small, yeah. Kitchen.
I'm just going to nip into the kitchen and I'm actually going to get something stronger. So I'll be begging
Off you go. You go. So, well, what would you like to do? Would you like to take a leaf out of Stephanie's book, and the next person who does a turn can elect the person to follow them? Who's ready? Who would like to do something now?
I'm going to have to go shortly, so could I go?
Would you like to do something, Katie?
If that's
that would be
all
lovely.
right.
Yeah, of course.
Right, I'm attempting to do this fancy thing where you like put screens to different sides of the screen so you can see multiple things at once. So hopefully it says, right, so this is a poem I wrote, and given all the Irish connection, this one is about the fact that the Irish Republic was formed in Inverness.
Oh yeah, it's so interesting. I didn't know about this until very recently.
Yeah, so in September 1921, all the hoi polloi, as my grandpa would call them, were on their hunting holidays up here, doing their, just on their hunting estates and stuff, and they had to come together, so they met in Inverness townhouse. And they came up with the Inverness formula, which was the foundation of what then became the Irish Republic. So this was 100 years ago. So I wrote a poem called Cuan and Ciat Bliana, Lament of 100 Years, for last year. And I'll read it in Gaelic, but I'll do it in English as well. It's got a bit of venom in it, so just be aware. So, Uro Shabbakarach, Hanig Treverich Farlamage, Lav and Fuljerig Haast, nach Burin and Gwanig, Gus Leinig in a Vappe, a Haring. Agi Veselach, Tokalach like Genevich Tourtje, Gjarrig na Shia Shiarachen van Jela Nuaine, Kane van Ierach na Vinchere. Formge Nish, Kulene Kria a Ultig, for Skalkrig Fatrik and Chach of Large and Tulting. A réitchig na Kriachen fuasklig. For hierin alvin is kaal van de hundig na chrinich, Gielsach gus karstes is evi easa krias na ulinkas, fachgiet in is faal, dan stach heur uur. A cutagamach ninchin jegulgish, chulach canon, maar a reir lucas, ahir, magaiv, charofisachke, ach vayet mink hulach mar verabis. Hoek na kon frennig in jal of a gastig forfsach, a chrochig a cameranach, replage, gorvoor, ro hachris, jehul donig. Hashin lukach gewil balamorn in geel kenneltje, wie injelachig en skien a co-oichin keltjach, is kua and kiet ekenach. Lament of 100 years. Fresh from hunting came the Parliament faithful, hands still red and bloody that they couldn't clean, to redraw the lines on the map. A facade of respectability in the turreted sandstone building, severing the 6 counties from the Green Isle, far removed from the people's reality. The Inverness formula gralaching the heart out of Ulster, in the shadow of St. Patrick's Hill on the 7th of September, deciding on borders as a solution. Under the elephant and camel badge where the Picts were converted, Concordia Fidelitas and the image of Jesus Christ in his suffering, they dissected Ireland into the new free state. Disemboweling centuries of heritage, family and language, and as Luke said, Father, forgive them, they knew not, yet they were smirking like Barabbas. The dogs consumed the treacherously ensnared meat hung on the meat hook of the glorious revolution, a harbinger of Bloody Sunday. We're profoundly sorry that the city of the Gaels is linked to those who brandished the knife against our Celtic cousins and lament 100 years of troubles.
Wow.
Amazing. That was top of that.
I would so like to read that, Katie. I'm sure lots of us would.
Yeah.
It's just so powerful and a very important piece of work. More and thang.
I was actually married in the room where that meeting took place. Yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic. We have Susan just in from the Basque Country.
Yeah.
Hello, Susan.
Hello there. Just sorry I'm so long and so late coming in. I missed that. I'm very sorry about that. It was interesting.
Oh yeah, that was quite a treat.
Bloody Sunday. Yeah. Okay. Oh well. Yes, it sounds like it was amazing. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Okay. How are you?
I'm very well. Very good. And yourself? Yeah,
I'm hanging on in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. You're looking good.
Thanks. Now, Rachel was saying Rachel is in Vermont and it's -14, and she's going to bow out soon. So I think she's going to be the next person to do a wee turn. Is that right?
Okay, if you say so. I'm like, oh no, wee turn. Well, I've got one other thing to do.
Come on, Gail. Can Kitty give us the all the words, both in Gaelic and in English. I thought it was really
That
marvelous.
would be amazing. I would love to have a copy.
I can copy it into the chat if that helps.
That would be awesome.
That would be lovely.
Great. Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, let's not rush forward. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like having to go after that. I'm just like, I'm in awe.
You'll have a few. Your power. Oh, Koch, her power is going. Might have to dive out. Oh, we'll hope that you come back if you do have to dive out. And just to say, I'm not certain, but I think Margaret Bennett's going to pop in. So I thought you would really like to see her.
She's frozen.
Yeah, she almost frozen. Yeah. Okay. So Katie, if you just
internet.
Well, that it's all right, Orla. Katie is already on the case with that.
Yeah. I just spent ages typing, dude. I've got these new varifocals.
Yeah, I would send that to the Moth. That needs to be published. That was
Absolutely,
That
really.
needs to be published. Yeah.
That one's never really. I think I've read it out twice, but it's never been published. That one.
Yeah.
Well,
You'll do that to
we'll have to explore, find the right place for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for sharing it with us. So it's really fantastic. Oh, this is it here. Yeah. What I'll do is.
It won't let me do the whole thing because you're only allowed a certain amount of characters. So
yeah.
That's the whole Gaelic version.
What I'm going to do is to put it into a Word document, maybe.
Oh, I've got that. I don't really know. I'm not really great at Zoom.
It's okay. Don't worry.
I've got it on a Word document, but how do I share that Word document with you guys?
I think you should be able to share it in the chat. You see, there's a little there's an emoji sign and there's a little.
I don't think we can
rectangle
copy from the chat. I mean, she can save it in the chat, not the share, right?
Well, I'll be saving the chat completely. So even if you have to do it in several bits, we will get it.
Well, the whole Gaelic one's there, so I can just put it in the English just now.
Brilliant, yeah.
And will you send it to us all then, Deirdre?
I suppose I'll have to.
Yeah, it's mine.
Let it howl.
I missed it, unfortunately.
Let it howl. Ban usul jata atatu. What is that? How do you say it correctly?
Oh, don't worry. Fine.
Okay.
That's lovely. Yeah, no, thank you very much. So Katie, you could even send it to Koch and I can make sure that I email it to people if you'd like to do it that way. Oh, here we are. It's coming. Oh, this sounded amazing. The disemboweling centuries of heritage. It's so powerful.
Smirking like Barabbas. That was
brilliant. Yeah.
That was from a picture of Winston Churchill. There's a picture of him outside Inverness townhouse. I'll see if I can find it. But it's quite a famous one here that he was just like, it's like they've done a good job. And it's just no.
Like take an afternoon off from the hunting, shooting, fishing and just carve up Ireland. Yeah.
That's basically what it was. I actually live on a hill called Craigfatrick. So there's a very large British fort at the top of the hill, and where St. Patrick allegedly converted the Picts to Christianity.
Whoa.
And the other couple of references, like the badge of Inverness has an elephant and a camel on it. But yeah, you can see Craigfatrick from the townhouse. So and it's a very lovely building. It's like neo-Gothic architecture.
I've been at concerts there a good few years ago. Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a striking building. But yeah, that's where they met, in the little chamber thing, which is where I eventually got married. So,
there's a hospital at Craigfadrig.
Sorry?
Oh, there is, yes.
There's a hospital at Craigfadrig.
Well, yes, Craig Dunane.
Craig Dunane.
Yeah, it's called, but it's just up the next hill. But it's now all flats.
It's the next. Okay, Gamaleshiel.
No, it's the same road. Like literally, you go about 200 yards that way, and it's there.
That's not Craig Dunane anymore, though, no?
It's called New Craigs.
New Craigs now.
But yeah, the big old Victorian building's now being converted into flats and townhouses, and then they built a modern one next to it. But I've been writing a wee bit about, there's if you walk into the woods, there's the old cemetery from the Victorian times, which is where they interred everybody who was not claimed by their families. And there's no markers of the graves at all. There's just this round, just a wall, and it's just got this eerie piece about it. It's very cool, but very scary, and including an interesting story of a man who won the Victoria Cross at Lucknow, and he clearly suffered terrible mental trauma from that, and he died in Craig Dunane and was never claimed by his family or anything. So he's buried in an unmarked grave in this cemetery in the middle of the woods.
Wow.
But the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders have rebuilt, have made a sort of memorial to him now, and he has a stone, and there's always poppies and commemoration there, but they don't actually know where he's buried in that cemetery because there's no markers at all of who is there. It's quite a poignant place. Certainly inspires the writing, I will say.
Huge story. Katie, just one last question about your piece of poetry. Did you have a title for it?
Oh yeah, it's I'll just put it on. Basically, if anyone knows, the Royal National Mod has the motto has the tune Shade na Ciad Bliana, Jewel of 100 Years, and I thought to make a play on that.
Yeah.
Cuan and
Ciad Bliana. That's great. Yeah. I've got it saved in a Word document now.
Okay.
But I'll copyright it to you. Don't worry. No, yeah. It's so great to meet you and to know about your work. So thank you.
I just want
I can't do loads of these sort of things because I have a 3-year-old and I'm a full-time teacher. So I've only just started getting into writing and doing a bit more recently.
Katie, that was amazing. That was amazing altogether. And I just wanted to say that I think you were the guest singer on one of the Throwbag sessions.
I was, yeah.
And and it was a really enjoyable evening. Fantastic, I'm more of everything. More singing, more poems.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, I can't. That must have been last year, but it all melds into one.
It's all kind of. It could be last week. It could be 10 years ago. Like who knows anymore?
Exactly. But yes, I did do. I'm very good friends with Marcus, who does the Ceiliúradh.
I was about to say, I wonder, would he be able to translate this, or would he know of somebody, or would ye know of somebody who'd be able to translate the Gaelic into Gaeilge?
I'm afraid my Gaelic is not great. I did do it at uni, but yeah, let's call it lapsed. I can understand everything.
There are people here. There certainly are people around Edinburgh who could approach that.
I think it would be amazing to have it in Gaeilge. I just haven't been able to.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people outside the sort of academic setting.
Well,
of it.
I think what you'd want is someone who would have a feel for it as well, because translation is an art, of course. Like the obvious person that comes to mind who could do it, you know, just certainly a working version would be Rhodey Gorman.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I might like to. I don't know how my Irish
Well,
is.
I thought about, I don't know if you know Brian O'Hedra.
Yeah, well, yes.
Brian O'Hara, yeah.
Because he's up here.
He is, yes, yeah.
He might like, and he's just on the Black Isle.
Yeah, you could collaborate and make sure that it's true to what you were trying to say, and he will have a feel for it as well. Yeah, especially as a songwriter. Yeah. Susanna, we've another singer arriving.
Okay,
Oh, now let's. Hello, how lovely to see you.
Right, I'm afraid I am going to have to go.
Okay, Katie. Yeah, we'll catch you again.
I have to go.
Bianach Dina Fela.
I nominate Susan Quinlan for next.
So we are now nominating. We've got Rachel needed to head off. Oh, are you staying or going, Rachel? Oh, she's gone.
She's gone. Yeah.
Oh, we were blethering too much. We couldn't let that go, though. That was something very special.
Certainly. Oh, she's gone. Katie is gone as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Katie had to go because she has her 3-year-old, and well, she stayed for nearly 2 hours. That's pretty good.
Okay, so I missed her. Oh well, not to worry.
Yeah,
you can send that on, or you can that's her poetry.
Susan,
the little bit I heard of it sounded amazing. Yeah.
So Susanna, this was Katie sang. She composes her own songs in Gaelic, and she also composes poetry. But she recently wrote this poem that she read for us, which is about the signing of it was it wasn't even a treaty, it was a treaty. It's more like that it was signed in Inverness that carved up Ireland.
Right.
100 years ago.
In Inverness, it was signed. Okay.
Yeah, in between the hunting, shooting, fishing, because they would go north for their all the hoi polloi would go north for their couple of weeks in August.
That's right.
To shoot. And so they literally took an afternoon off, went into, like Katie was saying, it was in the town hall where she was married, actually, in the same room where they met up, and there's a photograph of Winston Churchill coming out from that looking pleased as punch with himself, like he'd done a good day's work.
God. Yeah, I know, what a good day's work he did do, indeed. Years on, no? Yeah, and we still have the same situation. But anyway, that's another story.
I know, especially on today. There's so many anniversaries we could think of today, aren't there? Yeah.
Very much so.
Bridget is a good one to hang on to. She has an eternal energy about her. She really does, I think.
She has. I'm just reading, I was reading the Irish Times there earlier, and I see that they're organising lots of events in Ireland, in Dublin and around the country for Bridget's Day.
Yeah, they are.
And kind of taking
the consulate and
the
consulate and the embassy in London have been kind of punting it. It's a little bit difficult for us because we are getting a small amount of administration funding from an Irish Abroad fund, but they won't let. It's a heritage fund, but they won't let us use it for any artists. They won't. You can't use the funding for speakers or artists, or accommodation for artists, or travel for artists.
It doesn't make sense.
And yet in the consulate they're filling it up with guess what, Irish artists in London.
There you are.
And stuff, but it's very frustrating.
Frustrating, to say the least. Yeah.
You know, I think the fact that we got the Little Ireland Arts Collective set up is a bit of structure for us, and it needs to develop. But as long as we can kind of we've been keeping going through lockdown quite well. And I'm really glad we've done this tonight. It just feels like the right thing somehow, doesn't it? And like a lot of the stuff we do is language based, but it's very good to have things that don't depend on language so much every now and then. Oh, Orla's ruffling her pages. I think there's something about to come up from Orla.
All right, okay. Great.
Are you ready, Mrs.?
Where did I stop? Where did I stop, Deirdre?
We've no idea where you stopped. You'll have to give us you'll have to talk us into it a bit.
Okay. So I don't think any of yous were here with the last bit I read. Basically, we've got Peggy McGee, and she's been exiled from Ireland for 40 years or thereabouts for the crime of being homosexual. And she's in Scotland. My daily ritual is the art of grounding myself into each and every moment. I have to make myself stay real because last Nullag I tried to take my life away. I terrified the shite out of myself, the doctor and Hamish. Now I chant for me to stay alive. I need to own the energy of each breath as it flows into my body. All the resources I require are already at hand. I have been training for this change. Reincarnations of generations of witches have shown me ways. Let me now be who I am, a bog girl from old Ireland. Findhorn Foundation has been playing meditations via YouTube since. I revisited the climate change conference held in Findhorn in April 2019 on YouTube. I knew the filmmakers as friends and neighbours. I fed some ye at my kitchen table in my cottage, I told the telly. Some of us have shared single malts and outrageous stories. This no one gave me a truth of me. For Hogmanay, I cleared out your room again. In silent retreat from the world, I released you. From my auric bodies, from every corner of my home. I will root here meantime. Go, be free, explore, you are ready. Illanachio, baby, and refuse to speak Gaelic. If I did one thing wrong, it's not leaving you in Croylachan until you spoke your own ancient language, or not leaving you in foster care until you felt remorse. To stay calm and breathing, I imagine sitting in Marie's home hanging out. I am committed to breathing. G said, get it out, write it all out. Marie said, that story is your fortune. Michael said, no one else can tell this story. Scotland's Macker loved the snippets she supervised for my dissertation. To write it out, I must put it all in order somehow, except there is no order to universal timing. I only know to go with my shanvars of whispers. Start with what's on your desk, Scotland's Macker taught us. Here on my desk is a blue-green barnacled glass bottle. The shell scales are like fossilized lichens clinging. They are tiny skulls, limpet skeletons grey and ivory white. They are mollusks bonded on a bottle. The neck is uneven. That means it wasn't molded in a machine. Human hands, human breath, and alchemy made this bottle. A century in a deep mud bank by the River Snizer at Illanachio, where I dug it up. I told you it was treasure from before St. Columba. Mid-November 2021, we met with the Citizens Advice Bureau's finest. Wooly has one of those big old Hibernian brains. I was trying to piece it all together. You came home 18 months ago with a coke habit financed by foster care. I had to dry you out, feed you, hold you, play cards with you, entertain you, make you laugh, march you up hills into glens to give thanks. I did all this out of love. It cost me my health, all my spare towels, linens, pots, sanity, capacity for work. The stress of the neighbours has affected my mum's mental health and mine, you informed Wooly. Why don't you just move? He answered. You darkened, he saw it. No way, she is not moving. She is not able to move. She's just been diagnosed with PTSD and we know creepy Texas triggers her, but the cops are on it. She has a garden in Pals. The doctor's is round the corner. Oh, you told him, all right. He glowed in that moment. I always pay attention when men's auras reveal light. Your barriers, Rose. You barricaded yourself behind your father's black eyes. I took you home and questioned you. 3 years ago, to the very hour, I had reason to question you about a party. 3 years since my first arrest. I got the travel bursary, you told me, at home after you lied to Wooly. Did you know? Isn't that just fabulous? Well done, where are you off to? Bali with Jack. I chanted my mantra 3 times in big, long, deep breaths. Have you lost the run of your own mind? You are not going to bloody Bali. You get your arse over to Dublin and you heal your trauma properly. Just tell my sister all of it. Before I do, stop hiding, stop lying. Your dark look came last November. When the cops lifted me last, I had spent the week deep in meditation. All the evidence to hang foster carer was laid out on the floor in front of me. In my meditations, I asked, who needs this information? The guidance in my gut, the one I rely on always, told me breathe and wait. I can't remember how many times I have been charged, arrested, interviewed these last 3 years. But the last one was week past Sunday. You and your fella had made statements. The cop who followed it up will never live it down. From Dunblane to Falkirk, they'll laugh at him. I should write a letter of complaint to someone, but I need to straighten my head. It's all too surreal. I had a witness in the car, my daughter. That day you say I frightened ye up at uni, his hairy beer belly hanging out the window of your bedroom. No, my sweet girl, you do not lie to Wally. He is trying to help. Do you believe your own lie? Aye, we inherited a long-standing social problem, but you're ready to fly as you must. Nullig to Imbollig challenged the best of us. I'm made of steel. I am rock inside. Even me, tough as old boots day after day. I lay in my bed, my collie curled into me. She held me as I wept. It feels like all the compassion in the world has been sucked out somehow. I released all my hurt. I displayed all the anger, frustration, desperation I felt. Virgin money messed up my accounts, universal credits. The housing officer attempted victim blaming. I couldn't afford to eat the cat or myself. Not eat the cat, feed the cat. A month passed. You were gone, maybe to Bali with Jack. I found a box with 100 paracetamol. I lined 50 of them out on the kitchen table. My parents' voices wanted me dead. Pills and peppermint tea. My dog begged me to stop. You wouldn't look after her, she said. My cat agreed. You are the love that needs to stay alive, my Shanmore said. You are not alone. I am here. You matter to me. Then I was only breath. As the drugs wore off, my eyes rolled in the back of my head with lights shining. I had to watch each breath as it journeyed my body. I had to stay awake, talk to a doctor. Well done for getting here, said Dr. Jack. My friend was a Samaritan. She told me what to do if it ever became real. As January closed, my colleague Kat and I curled up for comfort. I cried at home, outside. Feeding myself, breathing was all I could do. My Shanmore sent me Fintan via Facebook. His parents were her friends. Fintan sent me photographs of women who look like me. I hold a bottle on my desk. It has weight. I smell inside the sludge of Scabust. We called it the beach. It lacked sand. Under the broch by Skirnish, where the Schneisert meets the Torah, where the Schneisert and the Torah meet the Little Minch, opposite the headland known locally as Starvation Point, where St. Columba landed. That's where this bottle comes from. St. Columba's monks built a cathedral on an island in the Schneisert. They built a path out to the tip of Starvation Point. The landowners lived opposite. I lived 15 years out on the Isle of Skye, on beaches or river banks, stretched on a rock. Big Norman the shepherd was my pal. You stole his quad bike, raced it out over the hills. He never minded. Milana Vocht, Mashanvaha repeats every morning, kissing tears. Drink water with the highest vibration. Honor your goddess heritage. When the cops came last, I thought they were going to say you were dead. Instead, they said I frightened your fella. I am a criminal because I frighten men. Finally, for law fail of rage at 2022, you and me and him are scheduled to appear before the sheriff. May the birds sing of justice. May the poets of Danu speak again. Tapalev.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff, Orla.
Can I ask a question, Orla?
Of course.
You mentioned there was about Breed McGee, did you say?
Peggy
McGee.
Peggy McGee, and she was she left Ireland because of being gay. Yeah.
That's the story. Shannon Shale, Shin Marai.
Because that's sort of my story. I left because of that as well, back in the 1970s, and a lot of the stuff that I write is all about what happened.
I think it's very important. We find we're still alive. Yeah.
Yeah,
alive. I don't know why we're still alive.
Oh, and I was wondering, what to do with this stuff, because I feel to some extent it's a sort of a unique record of a time that's gone now, and what I ought to do. I was talking to Anya Connolly about this, and she said I should try to do something with it.
Oh, totally, absolutely.
Yes, but how to go about that is the question.
I'll teach you. I'll teach you.
Thank you, Orla. I can get in touch with you by email or something, can I?
Deirdre's more. She can.
Yeah, I'll put you in touch.
I don't answer the phone or go near the internet.
All right.
2 or 3 people make me.
Right. No, I found what you wrote very powerful, and I wanted to thank you for it.
Well, that's really, really what bringing people together is all about. So that's excellent. Good to hear.
Thank you so much, Orla.
Thank you both. Thank you both.
There I am.
And Dermot, thank you so much for trusting us to read for the first time here. I hope you'll maybe have something else there. You've got a massive archive there, haven't you?
I've got a big red box full of poems.
Oh, we can see it just there in the corner.
There.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah.
Dates back to 1973.
Wow. That's an incredible chronicle of a lifetime, isn't it? Yeah, and of a changing, like for many people who left Ireland, describing ourselves with an Irish identity wasn't all that easy to do, and it particularly wouldn't have been easy for you or for Orla at the time that you went away.
No, I'd sort of always felt I had to sort of blend in with England and with the English, because it felt as if my own country had sort of betrayed me, and so I was looking for somewhere else, really. And as you know, growing up in Dublin, it's a very English city, in fact, very dominated by English culture and English broadcasting and English literature, English everything, really.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely. I grew up in Wicklow. Do you know Wicklow town?
I've been in it, but I haven't visited it very much.
I grew up in Wicklow town. Well, I was born in Donegal. And I only spoke Irish when we moved to Wicklow because of the Troubles. And I got picked on because I only spoke Irish, and I spoke really weird. And then I was just odd. So by the time the 80s rolled around, there was no word for gay. No, there was certainly no word for lesbian.
No.
All anybody knew, it could be beaten out of you. That's all anybody knew at the time. That's the advice as I remember it, get it beaten out of her. That's how it was.
Yeah.
That's very sad. That's very sad. Because in 1973, we started the first gay groups in Trinity College.
Oh, my aunt, my family. Who was that with? Do you know Tony Broderick? Ceiliúradh Bhrighde.
The name seems sort of familiar. It's such a long time ago. But I remember I remember at one of those meetings, there was an English woman, a lesbian, called Margaret McWilliams there. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
I haven't. I was a great Mary Dorsey fan, though. Mary Dorsey, I still have her. We must have sometime. Where do you live?
Me?
Aye.
I'm in Kinghorn. I'm in Kinghorn in Fife now.
I'm just up the road in Stirling.
Oh, right. Oh, right. It'd be nice maybe to perhaps talk sometime.
I just graduated from Stirling University.
Brilliant.
Masters in literature.
Well, fantastic. You're the person to guide me, obviously, about my little works.
I've been a creative writing tutor for years and years. But of course, do you know anybody in COVID who needs a creative writing tutor? No, me neither.
Was there a television program about you a while back?
No.
Can't
anybody, I keep myself to myself, man. Right down.
So, could I take this opportunity to welcome Lynn, who has just arrived while you were reading, Orla?
Hello.
Fáilte isteach, fescama, agus so Susan is beaming in from the Basque Country. Are you in Pamplona or in San Sebastian?
I'm near San Sebastian, in Ceiliúradh, where we have a place. Basically, Lovely. I've been here since COVID, since the end of confinement in 2020, more or less been based here since then. But I'm going back and forth to Pamplona more now. Yeah. So, don't know if anybody knows the area. It's the north of Spain, San Sebastian. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's where I am. On the sea. It's nice. It's very nice.
Lovely.
I'll have to visit you there sometime.
You certainly will. Yeah,
I will. Yeah, we're well overdue a catch up.
I know. A long time since we met the first time.
We almost caught up in Dublin just before Christmas.
We did.
I had Susan was in my head, and I was thinking I must text her.
And I was
then
the same.
on the day that I did, I had arrived in Dublin, and she had just left Dublin a few hours beforehand.
Yeah. So we missed each other by hours. Exactly. I was heading to Donegal to collect the students. My brother and I bring students to Ireland every year and that sort of thing. So, yeah, that was over.
I am meeting in a week and a half. Is this not right?
We are, yeah. We've got a meeting on the 11th of February. Yeah,
is it the 11th thing? Is it not the 10th?
Well, it's a Friday anyway.
Friday.
So yeah, no, that's all great. It's really good to have this mixture of lovely, rich literature and song and story, and just chat, conversation. It's so important for us to share our experiences. But we have Susanna here, who is a great friend and a fabulous singer. And I asked her if she would like to do something, and she's going to have a go with her guitar, knowing that sometimes there's an echo on Zoom, but if we're all mute, it should help. Are you okay? Will I unmute you, Susanna?
Yeah. I just need to go and get my guitar and maybe just go and do my bedroom.
Yeah, we'll happily blether. Don't worry.
Hold on a moment. I'll just.
Yeah, we'll just mute when you're ready.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'll just go and get my guitar. Hang on.
That's grand. Yeah. And so. Yeah, and Susan, you probably have some poetry that you might read. You're a great fan of poetry, aren't you?
I am, but I don't have anything prepared, I'm afraid. No.
Okay.
So today I won't be contributing. I know I did the last time, but this time.
It's okay, it's fine.
Okay. You might be doing another one around Patrick's Day, because that was the last time I remember.
Yeah, we did a few events for Seacht na Gaeilge.
Yeah.
And I've just been talking to Stephanie, who is in Paris, about possibly doing a link up with some of the groups she's involved in. Gaeltacht sur Seine. My pronunciation of French is dreadful. Sorry.
Perfect.
That it'd be really nice to just connect, to take advantage of the fact that there are things we can do on Zoom that we can't do in person, because of course there's a lot that we can't do in person still, and life still has its limitations, but yeah, we've got to make the best of things as well.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. And Lynn, where is Lynn from? Is she there?
Lynn?
Excuse me. So as usual, I live between the Outer Hebrides and the north of England. So that's my life.
That sounds very interesting. Yeah.
That's how it's been forever. Not quite forever, but yeah.
Yes.
And I live a life between Gaelic and English, like most of you.
Lynn, where are you in the Outer Hebrides when you're there?
I live Lewis.
Are you on Lewis? How did I never meet you on Lewis?
I don't know. Because we've never arranged to meet.
We've obviously got to catch up on all these things.
If you go past Stornoway, out of Stornoway, east out of Stornoway, past the airport, and you go over the Bray, past Echenish, and there's a lozenge-shaped island called Rua Point. There's only one road, so you can't kind of go wrong, and just on.
I remember it. Yeah. I'm usually down in Lochs when I'm on Lewis.
Oh right,
so I'll have to tell you. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah,
that's another conversation.
When we have our chat, when we finally have our chat, and a week.
Yeah. So we've met in these singing groups from the Seamus Ennis Arts Centre, and and Lynn is quite keen on using some of Cahill's material, of course, the great old Cahill McConnell. So she wants to kind of hook up with him and have a chat with him.
Yeah,
Edinburgh.
I've come directly from. I've been delivering work. I did another Learn Gaelic Song workshop and another USA Folk Festival over this weekend, and that was this afternoon, late this afternoon. And then I've been singing in the concert. I've left it to come and join you. And
how lovely.
I was singing, so I co-sing with a song partner in Colorado, which is over 5,000 miles away, and it works fine on Zoom. We do it every week, and we actually sung one of our favorite Cathal songs. I'd love him to hear it.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure you'll be able to make that work when we meet up in Edinburgh. So, well, we'll hear from you when you're ready. But Susanna, I think, is more or less ready to go. Are you? I'll put everyone on mute now.
Okay, yeah, I can go.
That would be lovely.
I wasn't really sure what to. I wasn't really thinking about playing anything. I've been recording all day actually. So I won't sing that song, although I'd be very ready to sing that song. You play a song over and over again all day. Your fingers hurt. But maybe when someone was saying earlier about the drawing up of the border in Ireland, I suppose it made me think to sing this song. The song, I suppose, that inspired the migration of my grandparents. Yeah, so maybe I'll just sing that song. It's a simple cheery number. Yes, I think I'm calling it. Don't know whether to call the song "Love Thy Neighbour" or "My Grandfather's Story," something like that.
Well, we really look forward to hearing it.
Hopefully, but let me know if it's sounding terrible. I've tried to do something with my microphone. Microphone Realtek or same as system. That was the only choice I had when I went on there. Is that okay?
Yeah, it will be. I'm sure it will be okay.
Microphone Realtek. Which one should I go? I went for Microphone Realtek.
Oh no, you open up audio settings at the bottom. Let me talk you through this.
Okay, so I've done that. I'm doing that now. So
you open that. You have another window opens up, and at this one, you say you set suppress background noise to high.
Or there's something show in meeting option to enable original sound.
Yeah.
It says professional music and professional audio. This will turn off audio enhancements such as echo cancellation, noise suppression.
Yeah.
Echo cancellation. So I want to echo cancellation.
Yeah, you want that one. Yeah.
Okay, so I've done that. Okay.
And the one just before that, you've done the suppressed background noise. Have you? So you put that to high, just above music and professional audio. Sorry,
you put that to high. Okay, I've done that. This is great. This is really good to know, by the way. Okay, I've done both those things.
It's very helpful. You don't
very helpful. Yeah, no, I had disaster trying to play on Zoom before.
Recently. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I've done that. Okay, so let's see if this works then.
Right, you have the floor, my dear.
I was called to see my neighbours, he lay dying in bed. I was called to see my neighbours, he lay dying in bed. I was called to see my neighbours, he lay dying in bed. He had something that must be said. Said I was asking you, will you loan me yours? Said I was asking you, will you loan me yours? Said I was asking you, if you love me, your horse, the night was late. Love thy neighbors, Jesus said, to us, see what happened to you. He understood them, into I was asking you about my feel. Said I was asking you about my feel. Said I was asking you about my feel. I lay in bed. Now my neighbor just said to us to have them. I was asking you, you helped in harvest. Said I was asking you, you helped in harvest. Said I was asking you helped in harvest. Say no the season. Said somebody else. So I got to say goodbye to my love. But instead, you would never want my hand. So I found my love. And now say, oh, yeah, but I remember. Jesus said, there is no postponement beyond the heart until later. There is no postponement beyond the heart until later.
Hello, I see some of those messages there. You might not have heard that very well. I get that. Sorry about that.
I don't know why it was. I think that your mic is very sensitive to your guitar or something. That it wasn't balancing between your voice and your guitar very well. It's always really tricky. But
did you get anything much of it at all?
I did, yeah. I know your work. I know your music is beautiful. So I knew the rest of you just have to believe me.
What was coming through was absolutely fantastic.
This is a beautiful voice.
I'm sorry about it not being great. I haven't sussed out how to work Zoom, sound on Zoom.
I'm not sure whether this might help, and I'm far from being an expert, but I wonder, might sitting further back help, or would that not make any difference? Because I've noticed we had a group of musicians, a family. They were all playing musical instruments, and they were actually quite a ways back from whatever device they were using. And I don't.
They probably had microphones. A lot of people have microphones.
What I was.
And they probably have
actually.
System.
Yeah. Was it a microphone? Had they something else that I wasn't?
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, people make it look so natural. It's such a bummer. They look so natural, but they've often got pretty decent, sophisticated.
We see this, and there's all this other stuff going on out here.
But you know, that's something to learn more about, really, isn't it? Like,
indeed. It's something to learn more about. Yeah, the microphone I have been using for work on Zoom. Yeah, I wouldn't want to try today. It's kind of done. It's not been very good recently, so I think that wouldn't have worked. But anyway, we tried. So I'm glad you got some.
Tell us what you were working on today. Is it a new song that you were working on recording?
No, it's a song I wrote a while ago. Inspired by Rumi's poem "The Guest House." I don't know if anyone knows the poem "The Guest House." So I could read that. Although I was looking at it today thinking, do I need to write to Coleman Banks, the translator of Rumi's poems, to get permission to write this song? But there's only like 3 lines from his poem that are in Rumi's poem, Coleman Banks's translation, that are in my song. So it's not the large body of the song, but it's interspersed in it.
Taken the whole thing.
No, no. But so I could read you that poem. Should I read you that poem?
That would be lovely, yeah.
Sure, I could probably easily
please.
find it. That can be my contribution. Sure, I can easily find it, yes. Yeah, it was fun. I was in there with the drummer today in the studio. Yeah. Still got to do the vocals, but the guitar and the drums are laid down, so that's good.
Great.
Wow, what's that? Oh, sorry, that's something I pressed on.
While you're searching, Deirdre Gra, how's Alan, Robert Allen Jameson?
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him at all. So I'm not sure.
Okay. And George?
Busy as ever.
Okay. Okay. Have you been across to the pub?
Well, you know, George is up in Thurso.
Mm-hmm.
He and his wife have been down once, just for 2 nights in, I think it was October or it was autumn time, and Christine managed to get COVID in the week that they were down, the weekend they were down. It was the only time they'd been out of Thurso. And so she went home and they were both very, well, he wasn't too bad, but she was very, very sick for a good 3 weeks. So I've been sending, like I phone up and leave them messages for Happy Christmas and Happy New Year. But I know that just from George's writing about Caledonia a lot, and he has a play coming up that he's going into rehearsal in Glasgow for.
I saw that.
In the next couple of weeks. So we will see him. He'll appear. There's no planning with George. He just arrives when he arrives.
George Gunn August.
George Gunn, yeah. Beatna Agatar air.
Aye, ta.
George.
Will we are a good gala?
It's Machla May.
Sorry, Orla, Sean is trying to speak.
Oh, sorry.
Aye, will me are a good gala. Vi
sé Jane of residency, not row. Writer's residency or something, yeah?
Sinead.
Character of the first order.
Farmer.
Okay, are you...
Farmer.
Right, well, we'll just mute now and we'll give the floor to Susanna again.
Okay, I'll read this wee poem. It's just a very wee little thing. It's called The Guest House. His being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably, maybe clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. That's it. By Ruby.
That's beautiful.
It's lovely. Thank you, Susanna. Enjoy that.
Cheers.
Okay.
So, are we going to get a poem from someone else there now? I heard there was was it Lynn or someone was going to read a poem or share a poem?
Lynn might sing for us and I might sing.
Grand.
How about you, Lynn? Are you ready or would you like to wait?
Deirdre, my dinner's nearly ready. Go on, you sing and then
you sing. I need to find some words in English while singing Gaelic, if that's all right.
Oh, we won't have that, no.
Absolutely.
Hey, Gaelic, Linda Hull.
All right then. But since most of you, okay, I'm going to make that assumption that that it would be helpful to put words in English if I sing in Gaelic. Is that right? Or would you rather I didn't bother?
No, you can just tell
sing.
us. You can give us the gist of it after.
Well,
I don't need the words in English.
That's fine. I wasn't quite sure what, because you said songs about strong women, and I'm thinking there's an enormous shortage of songs about strong women in any language. And there is one that I intend to learn in English, but I've not got to it. It's well down the queue. Which so I couldn't possibly sing it because I don't know the tune and I don't know the words. But there you go. So I thought that this might hit the spot for two reasons. Because I'm going to sing a luag, one of the Oran Luai, so a tweed walking song, and tweed walking was obviously enormously hard labor for women, and the songs were there to keep the beat, keep people going, and keep people entertained, because bitter hard work needing tweed that's soaked in urine would have gone on for hours. It would have been really hard to do, and it's really a complete travesty to sing a luag on your own, because they're joining in songs by definition. But hey, we can't do joining in at the moment. So I thought, well, first of all, that would be suitable because it's about women's strengths in work and organizing their own work as well. But also I was looking for one that demonstrated at least an empowered woman, and this woman is saying 1,000 curses on my love, and I won't go with this chap, and I won't go with that chap, I won't go with the carpenter, and I won't go with anybody except my beloved. So she's insisting on her rights to choose the person that she's going to go off with or marry. And we don't know there's almost never any explicit history in these songs. Alistair Vicolagasta would probably be the exception, and there's very rarely any location in them. They're just old songs and often fragments. Sometimes I've got the Oran Luai book, that I don't know if you've got one of those, Deirdre, with the blue book, which was out of print decades ago, and that one has hundreds of verses for everything.
I've been searching there. I have a photocopy of it. They have it down in the Scottish Poetry Library. I nicked it for a week and took a full photocopy of the whole thing, and now I can't put my hand on it.
Oh,
very
right.
annoying. It'll be there somewhere.
If you cannot find it, at some stage get me to do the same again, but it will take forever, and I've got such a queue of things, so I'm not promising.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I will be able to get it from the Poetry Library again, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's an option, because I definitely own the book, and it would be quite a useful thing to have a PDF copy of it, because then it's more portable.
It would.
I mean, you don't want to
yes,
move it,
yeah.
do you?
Actually, and that's much easier to do now. Like, you can just take a scan and make it into a PDF. It's doable, yeah. But howsoever, off you go, and
so I'm going to sing Ilmaravisk Esmerel, and you can join in the chorus as well, because it's mainly chorus. Right.
1,000 curses on my love.
Mila maravashkere lo hiri asam hina huke hoi you a hoko you a you hey you a hoko asam hina huke hoi hiri you skolche mochri skolche namria skolchen mochrian am ham you a hoko you a you a hoko skolche mochri. It's because it's got to be clear. Skolche mochrian am ham hiri you Guskel emfal famochain, hoi you a ho go, hoi you a hoi you, hui you a ho go. Guskel emfal famochain, oh hiri you, munyer alavis nach chil, hoi you a ho go, hoi you a hoi you, hui you a ho go. Munyera galvis nisnach chir, oh hiri hachich misha hachich mi, ho you a ho go, ho you a ho you, hey you a ho go, hachich misha hachich mi, oh hiri hachich mi dovakaver, ho you a ho go. Hoi you, hey you, ho go. Hachich me do vakever, oh hiri you, no eacher do vakenter, hoi you, ho go. Hoi you, hey you, ho go. No eacher do vakenter, oh hiri you. Haniel an ach oia fyn, hoi you a ho go, hoi you a hoi you, hey you a ho go. Haniel an ach oia fyn, o hiri you, bamse fera letan dain, hoi you a ho go, hoi you a hoi you, hey you a ho go. Bounce a fair a latandain, oh hiri you, hatchet me doggins and cheer, ho you a ho go, ho you a ho you, hey you a ho go, hatchet me doggins and cheer, oh hiri you, gussan chick more lanan heen, ho you a ho go. Hoi you, hey you, ho go, hey you, hoi you, hey you, ho go. Clearly, I should have practiced it before I just sung it.
Oh no, that's just so lively, and even though you're singing it on your own, there's a lovely sense of participation.
I hope you were all singing along.
Is that a well-known song in Scotland? I know it.
Yeah, I think it's been recorded by some of the big bands who would probably go touring to the north of Spain, like Capercaillie, those kinds of bands.
That's it. I have music by Capercaillie. That's how I know it.
That's how you recognize it.
It's very familiar to me. Yeah,
so,
it's great.
Normally,
it's beautiful. Lynn, thank you.
It typically starts at Hachich Misha Hachich me. But someone, for one of my workshops, someone actually sent me a whole, some additional verses, which kind of went at the front. Only they don't scan the music quite so well, which is why I should have practiced how they all fitted the music, which is actually the case. They don't really, and that's quite often the case. And it's probably the only kind of song where you can break the rules about, how the beat has to fall with the words, and when there's a grave and it's a long vowel, you're supposed to kind of make it long, short, and so on. But with the luag, or the luag song, you have to sometimes break up the line and break up the way the Gaelic would be spoken to kind of fit it in. But there's one or two of those lines that don't fit quite so well. But the latter part fits it perfectly. So I wonder whether maybe they were borrowed from another song. But anyway.
Okay.
What a high.
Very possible.
It was lovely.
It's lovely to hear you sing, Lynn, as usual.
Beautiful voice.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Gleor Tauron mar sin an ilneach go leiscéil tá Gaelga agus ma Gaelic Dan fakul deirdre Chanil bastardized Gaeilge agus Gaelic.
You have your own language. You have your own dialect. Oh, but all of us who have been learning Gaelic, this happens. It happens in the Circle Cora that people that I thought a couple of years ago, I thought they were totally fluent, and I was the one messing up. And I'm suddenly now recognizing that that they make the same kind of mistakes that I do.
No,
You know, like
it all goes backwards. But I'll have to tell you, Orla, I have to tell you a funny story. It's absolutely true. So I had learned a couple of Irish Gaelic songs. I was thinking, well, you know, it can't be so hard, and especially since the Donegal Gaelic is quite close, you know. So I learned, anyway, I can't remember which one it was I was singing. I was singing it in a Cayley anyway, and someone said, well, that was lovely. They said, were you singing in Scottish Gaelic? Because, you know, although I'd taken tuition, of course, to be respectful of the song, I'd taken tuition to try and, you know, get a good Irish Gaelic pronunciation. I had just been unable to get, you know, my head round this similar but different language. So, I mean, for example, you know, if I said Mavahat, and that's my mother, you know, and you say Mawahad, and I just, oh no. So I look at it and the words are all really similar. And I think, I know, I can do this, you know. And actually, I have to write a phonetic above every single word in Irish Gaelic. And then still someone said, were you singing that in Scottish Gaelic? I thought, oh crap, you know.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I have to do that for Scots Gaelic.
Pardon?
So if I'm writing Scots Gaelic, I have to write it out phonetically. But Irish Gaelic trips out of my tongue, unfortunately.
Yes. Well, my other problem is I'm learning Spanish because my grandson lives in Mexico. He's half Mexican, and so now, of course, I go off to my Spanish. You know, I go Zoom my Spanish lesson with my teacher, and I have to school all my Spanish tutors, and I say now, I'm not talking nonsense. Okay, I am speaking in another language. It's just not Spanish. What can I do?
Yeah, I talked myself out of the Wicklow accent once. Anyway, and I tried to, you know, blend, I suppose, for a while. But you meet a lot of Wicklow people training to be student nurses. Wicklow, Wexford, Waterford. Here, they train to be student nurses in Stirling University, and they come out to where I live for a walk because there's beautiful walks, beautiful, magnificent walks. And there's this girl, and she comes out for a walk, and she loves my dog. Her name is Niamh Cooney from Rathdrum. And I curse the day I ever met her because I was doing quite well. I had nearly forgotten I had an Irish accent.
I don't think you can ever.
Fucking curse.
You can never lose an Irish accent, or
no, you can't. Why would you?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah. Everybody says to me, you know, I'm 46 years in London, but my accent hasn't changed a lot. It's changed.
You don't know people. 46 years will know people in common. You were 46 years in London on the gay scene.
A bit, yeah. You know, it's such a big gay scene that you know, half of London's sort of involved in that these days.
Yeah, we'll know folk in common. Yeah,
we probably did.
Taci me se imachta inis. Á mór agus slán le achan duine.
Slánaga.
But I was just about to sing you a song. I'm going to sing you a lullaby as you leave. Is that all right?
Go right.
Okay, right. We'll just right. I'm just going to put you on mute now. And it's a song it's Bridget. One of her great attributes is that she's the keeper of the cows, the kine, as it says in the Carmina Gadelica. And so I have a couple of milking songs. in Gaelic that I thought would be, I haven't sung these for many years, but I just thought that they would be nice to dust down a nocht. So the first one goes, so you can really imagine having to do this work now while you're singing. Ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, avaner a chain, yol an ta. O skillen a grú banyan an bo, skillen an grú banyan an bo, skillen an grú banyan an bo, avaner a chain, skillu na kach. Ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, avaner a chain, yol an ta. Bui a maror coolen magul, bui a maror coolen magul, bui a maror coolen magul, a vanner a chain stutsamara. Ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, a vanner a chain, yol an ta. Snuan roish gruyan toig, snuan roish gruyan an toig, scruan to roish gruyan hoi, a van rachain ave moran. Ahoo, aho, yolan na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, ahoo, aho, yol na lay, a van rachain, yol an ta. Get a crocha, camoy, chanyal machro, samoy. Get a crocha, camoy, chanyal machans. Get a crocha, camoy, chanyal machro, samoy. Get a crocha, camoy, chanyal machans. Grech ma, rhymes. En molakach tulam en grech ma rumsa, grech ma rumsa, en molakach tulam en grech ma rumsa. Get grocha chamoy, chanyal mochro samoy. Get grocha chamoy, chanyal maramsa. Go la chruyavohu, hooking you banyahui. Go la chruyavohu, hooking you banyahui. Hooking you ain't a shrew, hooking you ain't a shrew, hooking you ain't a shrew. Sucking you barachwing. Sinead.
Sin. Yeah. Thank you.
Just a bit of fun there. Okay. Okay, slán go fóla chora agus feicmid tú gin ceircail chora.
Gin ceircail chora.
Okay, Ihuwa.
Ihuwa, call us off.
Now, would you like to do a song for the road, Stephanie? No, yeah, they're still there. You moved around the street.
Still here. Yeah, if you'd like me to, yeah, that'd be a pleasure.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I'd really like that.
Well, I suddenly feel in the humor for it's I'm sure everyone, if you've either seen Barry Lyndon or you've heard the or know Sean O'Rea, you know the melody, and it's based on, it's Manon here, and it's based on an 18th century poem by Pater O'Dorneen, so from the northeast of Ireland. And as I said before, that's so totally not where I'm from, not from the north at all, but sure, I'll stay up north anyway for the song. So and there's 5 or 6 verses, but I'll sing the kind of the usual 3 for the shorter version.
All right, Lathacara.
Abandoned a Frank Shedam is more than no. Staban in Eden, Spavin Malehe, Mora Flakyo, Na Shannon He, Taban in Eden is near Varley, Bio Mishaglim, no lagai green is mohar feho. Aban in Eden, Avagidam Marvaina ho O Vanarina Nachatan Skilla is more low the banna barlam no kais care if nach vain good yo sta kalin speru eg far verla the vrana kroin abanadera the shuling go vainantor Storm Banalena is far from me. No time to bow. La Banavura Balanver is Clark Huron Sneakum Lesa Mahamarfe Scarita Sinead.
Oh, that was just heartbreakingly beautiful.
Oh my God. Oh, Mila Breachas. Oh, you're too kind. Yeah.
No, that was really special.
Oh, Mila Breachas. Heard you.
Mila Breachas, Earth Fame, Bit Fame.
Oh.
It's beautiful, so beautiful. Well, you know, we've kept this going happily for 3 hours. Thank you, everybody. That's so amazing. Shall we just do a quick around the room? And if you'd like to do a little turn, Dermot, did you have something else in your box of tricks to share?
Well, I'm really loving it, but I was thinking I need to head myself for now.
Okay.
We're going to be ending in a few minutes. Yeah. Well, if you need to go, that's okay, of course. Thank you for joining us. You must be very tired
thank you
after a day.
so much. It was amazing. Yeah, it's lovely song, Stephanie. Really loved that.
Oh, thank you so much. Moran Tang. I hope I pronounced that right.
Okay.
You are, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Thank you. Cheers.
Okay.
Bye.
Night. See you soon in person.
Bye, Susanna. Okay, bye.
Okay. So, all right then, Diarmuid, what do you have up your sleeve there?
Well, I only wrote one poem in Irish, ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I wrote it on the 3rd of April, 1977. And funnily enough, I wrote it in, you know, the Clo Gaelic that we used to use,
yeah, I love it.
Using the Irish alphabet, you know, the Irish way of writing, because I learned that at school. It's called Tastín. And it goes, it's very short, and it says, Tastín Gaeilge úsáid, Filiachta scríobh os Gaeilge, Teanga Éireannach. That's it. But
I also like that. Well done, well done. There's more to come from that rich seam. I'm sure there is.
It's the only one I ever wrote in Irish. But I wanted to say one thing before I've got the floor, so to speak. I was listening to a program called Bloss on BBC Gaeilge, which comes from BBC Radio Ulster. Mm-hmm. And there was an interview there with a guy called Cormac O'Hara, who's from an RTE person. And he was talking about his growing up. He grew up in the Gaeltacht in Connemara in Carrarua. And but he was saying that Irish speaks to him in a way that English doesn't. I mean, he uses English all the time in his work and so on and so forth. But when he remembers very, very firmly when he was a baby that his mother always sort of consoled him by singing lullabies in Irish. And that he actually said in the program that, you know, this is a 5,000 or 6,000 year old culture that belongs to us all. And isn't that it just was a wonderful thing to hear. And it really spoke to me, what he said.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I hope my personality is stable enough in this kind of situation. But I need to have the Gaelic language in my life. I absolutely have to have it. And I'm not quite myself without it.
No. I'm finding that myself, you know, because, you know, remember when I first came to the Kirkle,
yeah,
you know, I felt it's very strange at first, but now it's become part of who I am.
Oh, lovely. Well, it always must have been part of who you were then.
I did always love it. It's just that I had to put it to one side, you know, because I had to earn my living in the world.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think so many of us do make compromises just to have some kind of a rounded life and to earn a living and all those things.
All those things.
Quite difficult. And then added when you have a social challenge like being gay in a country that doesn't accept you, then that must have made it much, much harder.
Strangely enough, when I did a period where I sort of scoured all the libraries in Dublin for anything to do with gay people, and I found loads and loads and loads, but very interestingly, some of the old Middle Irish and Old Irish literature, they had a very sort of different way of looking at sex and sexuality, the Celtic people, and it's written down. And I was fascinated. I mean, I found that they were actually like descriptions of it. And I found that quite amazing, really. The church obviously didn't study what was in the libraries very closely.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we could have a long conversation about that. I've been at an amazing conference a good few years ago now here in Edinburgh on Celtic sex and sexuality. And it was hilarious. It was just hilarious. And the most interesting stuff of all was from early medieval texts.
Yes.
And the shape shifting, like where a man would go away from his wife and turn into a woman on the top of a hill and go away for 3 years and live his life, and this was under a gasa, under a spell, is how it would be explained. And then comes back looking perfectly much the same as he had before. And like literature is full of this, it's just we maybe haven't been open to reading it as real life. We've been thinking, oh, this is just kind of some kind of fairy tale, but it's not. Nobody went to the bother of writing down things that didn't mean something to people.
No, I think that's what I was referring to and what I found in the libraries,
Yeah.
I did quite a diligent search.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Yeah, well, we're all opening up much more now. Our world is opening up, and our Irish identity is having a bit of a chance to flourish. So we've got to grab those opportunities.
For sure.
Wherever we haven't. Oh, I'm getting weird looks from Ms. Broderick over there.
I didn't realize you were looking at me.
I think I'm looking in that direction. Oh no! I must be on a mirror thing. I came on at 10 to 7, thinking I'd be nice and early, and I could check the screen and everything. But there were several people already waiting to join, so we just got on with it. But I think I'm facing When my hand goes towards Orla, it's actually facing away. Yeah, I got to get that sorted out later.
No, I wasn't giving you weird looks. I was just listening.
That's fine. Would anybody like to do anything before we call it a night? Lynn, would you like to sing something short, maybe? You've only been able to join us quite late. We'd love to hear you again.
I was toying with maybe singing an Irish song, but I might just change my mind, and I might still sing an Irish song, which is a bit dangerous. Having said that,
no, you're fine. You're welcome.
I'm going to maybe change my mind about what I would like to sing. But I've only recently started singing this, so it may or may not be completely correct. And I just hang on, let me think about it.
No, that's fine. No.
Okay, let's give it a go.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so if I sing you Bargin Ailimi, which is quite short, is that okay? Okay, you can all join in the chorus as well. Bargin Ailimi Chimika Gaula, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Ailimi Chimika Gaula, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Bijok, Bargin Biosok, Bargin Boyok, Bargin Ailimi, Bargin Jirok, Bargin Jontok, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Ailimi Chimikotori, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Ailimi Chimikotori, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Bijok, Bargin Biosok, Bargin Boyok, Bargin Ailimi, Bargin Jirok, Bargin Jontok, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Ailimi Brishikitori, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Ailimi Brishikitori, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Bargin Bijok, Bargin Biosok, Bargin Boyok, Bargin Ailimi, Bargin Jirok, Bargin Jontok, Bargin Ailimi Svelami An. Sorry about the wrong kind of Gaelic.
There is a Scottish Gaelic.
No, it was fine. It was fine.
Oh yes, I love that.
Yeah, musician go.
Yes, there is. Yeah, that's right, Dermot. But yeah, no, it was fine because it's a Tory song, and Tory is almost in Scotland anyway.
Yeah.
But I know it's more the Gaelic is more like Scottish Gaelic, isn't it? You know.
It's closer, yeah.
Yeah.
I got it when my Irish was still very, very weak from not speaking over many years. I went on a week-long trip to Tory, and I wasn't doing very well with my fellow students, but all the local people could understand me without any bother whatsoever, and they just said, "Carry on, you're fine. Don't worry about it," because the Gaelic was close enough. But of course, then I felt terrible that my Irish wasn't better.
Yes, because I learned, the word to do, Jainov, as a Jainov. That's Munster Irish. But I think in Donegal they say Jainu.
Gianu.
Jainu.
But then when
I would say
learning Gaelic,
I would say Gianu, but that depends on your region. So so Lewis Gaelic is different from it's often harder, but I would say Gianu. Otherwise, people would say Gianuv, and I would say Ervord, on the table, and other people would say Ervorsht. So it's not wrong, and it's not really dialect. It's more pronunciation, But sometimes it's really hard. I remember being on the bus in Barra with a lady who I also knew through Luic circles, and she was saying Beo, I said, "Is this Beo?" and I realized that she was saying Beo, which went round. It was like she got marbles and they were rolling around. It was like it had Beo. It was like it had 3 syllables. And actually, I thought, "Oh, that's Hammy Bio," and the word Bio.
Oh, yes,
It's just really weird how you hear things differently, and so yes, so and there are other words like that which are quite hard to hear because they just sound. You think, what was that word? And it's that, yes. So Beho, I thought that was lovely.
And it always amazes me that in the Hebrides until about the 1960s, it wasn't possible to get from one of those small islands to the next. Like all of the Uists were separated from each other, and those causeways have only been built since then, since 1960s. And and that meant the dialects were very distinct in each little place.
Yeah.
I've just started doing the Corsa Intrigi with the
oh, fabulous.
The plan is to try to work out some of these differences and to stop embarrassing myself when I'm talking to Scottish people in Gaelic, and with this sort of mixture of Irish that comes into it. And the tutor said to me, because I don't know if you know him, his name is Gillespie Ferguson.
Oh yeah, I know Gillespie, yeah.
Yeah, but he was saying that when he went to Ireland, everybody was saying they were Taoiseach, but Taoiseach in Scottish Gaelic means depressed, whereas they use the word ski for tired, but Taoiseach in Ireland is tired.
Have a great.
What was that? Yeah, those kind of things really trip you up sometimes. You think you know exactly where you are, and you translate in your head, only to discover that you've over dramatized the case. And there are lots of things. There are lots of places where the language is the same, but the meaning is different, and that can be quite tiresome sometimes. But I think it is time to say goodnight. People are wandering away, and
I actually do have to go. I've got to go back over to America because I'm doing an emergency. Because I'm completely crazy, as you already know, Deirdre. So and Stephanie, and if you know me already, you know I'm crazy, and if you just met me, you'll know it as well. So I've stood in for an emergency shift. I have to go and be the assistant for a virtual session, which will take me to past midnight, and I'm due in my session in 1 minute.
Oh,
okay. Well,
Ikava.
Thanks for inviting me along. Thanks for inviting me along, Deirdre. It's been lovely to see you all. And
no, it's been a delight to have you with us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
So, wow. those couple of hours have flown past.
Absolutely flew.
More than 3 hours now you've been on, or more. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Brilliant,
thank you
Deirdre.
so much, everybody, for making this work.
Well, thank you, Deirdre. I think it's one of the best things I've been in with the Little Ireland Arts Collective so far.
Oh, thank you. That's really good to know. I had to send off all of the progress reports over the weekend, and it was making me think about, how important it is to have a good mixture of stuff, and it's all very well having the language thing, but there are quite a lot of happily participate if you keep it just based on the language. Like we got Sean singing tonight. He's usually apologizing for his Irish, although his Irish is good. But that was really nice. Yeah.
But I was also, we're celebrating St. Bridget, and she's sort of a figure in poetry and literature and all of these things. She was she was a goddess of all of that, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Definitely was. Yes. Yeah.
So it's highly appropriate. This evening was very appropriate.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just a little smidgen of the talent that's dotted around that we could be plugging into. So let's hope we can have more fun in the future.
That's what it's about. It's about fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about letting go of the worries of the day, and I'm remembering who we are deep down.
Absolutely. One of the things I have come across, but also speaking with the Scottish people, there is a shame associated with Gaelic and with Irish as well, because that was instilled into us for a reason. And it's very, very sad. I'm only beginning to realize just how damaged we all are.
Yeah. It's not good.
No.
But it's maybe it takes people until later in their lives to be able to challenge it. But there are a group of young people now, both in Ireland and away from Ireland, who are standing up for themselves and insisting.
Absolutely.
And they're radical, but they need to be.
I do admire them very, very much, actually. I think it's such a welcome development. It really is.
Yeah. And I also think that Micheál D is a great help as well, because he is just so completely bilingual. He thinks in both languages.
Does he?
And he has a great brain in his head, and he's very supportive of anything to do with the language. And that just gives it a bit of that soft diplomacy, and it's still really hard. We don't have anyone in the consulate at the moment who is an Irish speaker.
Really?
Who is a competent Irish speaker. Yeah, the person who took over from Lisa Marie, Jenny Quinn, she attended the Kirklecora on the I think it was the August version, when she had just arrived. She was settling in. She was still in an apart hotel, and we invite her to every single monthly gathering, and I've never even had an email back from her, which makes me think that her boss has said to her that's not important. So, and I did have that feeling that Lisa Marie was making sure she was at home when she would join our group. And she's a fluent native speaker, so she always loved to have a bit of a blether in Irish. But yeah, it's not a priority of our current team at the consulate. But they're only with us for 4 years, and 2 years of that has been in lockdown.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be meeting there, I take it.
Well, I don't think we're welcome there, no, at the moment. The excuse I'm being given is that the building isn't, it's not disabled access. And so the Consul General is saying that it's not suitable to have any public gatherings there at all.
What they need to do is get a different building then.
Well, yes, that would be good, but there's prestige attached to the one that they have. And I suspect that the Irish government, High-Hegians, or maybe the embassy in London, has said, we need you to stay where the other embassies are in Edinburgh.
Right.
the other embassies just have their events anyway, and they work around it. And occasionally, if there's something very big, then they will hire the assembly rooms or something like that. So I think she's making more of it than she should be, really. But what can I say? we're carrying on. They're not giving us any. They'll retweet things for us on Twitter. That's the reason I'm on Twitter. It's simply to make sure that they retweet any events that we're running, and so that they know that we've actually run events, because they're not coming to say hello to us at any point, which is unfortunate, but it swings and roundabouts. We've had a run of some lovely people in the consulate in the past, and we're just on a bit of a dip at the moment. That's how I think of it.
Oh, well,
it'll change.
You're being very charitable.
There is another. I don't know if you've ever met Niamh. She's just one of the administrators in the consulate. Niamh Griffin is her name. She would come to the Cearco Comhairle, but she wasn't happy speaking. Right. But I met her out walking during lockdown with her new baby boy, who is called Malachi, and she's in a gay relationship that she hadn't ever felt. So lockdown has made her feel she should be more honest about all that, and she's not in Ireland now or whatever. But it was really nice to see. And I was hoping she might come along to this, but she has a tiny baby. It's probably not great timing for her. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's lovely to keep in touch with you all. I haven't had a proper chat with you, Susan, but we will.
I know,
soon.
we will, definitely.
I'm going to say good night.
Okay.
Ihiwa.
I thank
Gormila Magav.
Agot. I can't say it in Irish.
You have, no, you said it perfectly.
For organising everything. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm really glad I did it.
Okay, lovely to see you all.
Slán go fóill.